podcast. There we go. We there. We recorded. I'm online. We sitting here talking it up. We chopping it up. Normally we normally get a intro music wise, but Keon late, so we ain't got time for that. We going to dive into today. We
He
going.
always get on everybody else today.
Yeah, he late, so we ain't got time for that. He 15, 20 minutes late. We got Dante coming in at 4, so definitely stay tuned for Dante. He gonna be in here at 4 o'clock on the call in. But we want to get into this now because we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to debate. I feel like this first topic, we ain't got a lot of topics, but this first topic probably gonna take an hour to get through it because I feel like it's gonna get a little heated. It's gonna be
You think
I
so?
feel like I think so. It's gonna be a great discussion. You know what I mean? But let's get it right into it. LSU beat Iowa for the national championship, women's national championship. Great. It wasn't a great game overall. It was a great response for women's basketball, women's college basketball with the viewership and the response just in general of the game because people are just super excited to see these, not just these two teams play, but definitely to see the star that was coming out of a very great game when she beat with our beating University of South Carolina, and then now line up with LSU and to see how the shoe going to go against that team and to be able to be productive. And so it was just overall a lot of excitement, a lot of buzz coming in. Um, I do feel like there's some issues here and there, but that's what we're gonna get into it. So first, we'll let you start off, Key. Let you start this off. Just give us a recap of your thoughts of LSU winning that championship, and then we're gonna get into the backlash, the Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark conversation, and then after that we're gonna talk about Jill Biden situation, and then we'll get back into the Angel Reese discussion points. But Key, your team won. No, you're a fake fan because you don't talk about your team at all.
Said boy,
But
fake
you're
fan.
Fake fans don't
but
have one of these.
well, yes, they
Anybody buy a
do.
T-shirt, bro.
Anybody
Whatever.
can buy a
Anybody can buy a
T-shirt.
T-shirt, bro.
Whatever.
But
Fake
you,
fans
but
don't have
but
one of
but
these,
I give
baby.
you this. You've always been a staunch supporter of LSU. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and give your thoughts on them winning the chip.
But first of all, I want to say it was a great tournament. I want to shout out the four teams that made the Final Four because the Final Four was lit for you know what I'm saying, South Carolina, Iowa, uh, U,
LSU,
Virginia Tech, and
LSU and
Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech. Yep.
Those four teams put put women basketball on the map in the tournament. It was must watch TV. Those that Final Four. So shout out to those ladies. But you know, it's only one winner. So, uh, but yeah, going into it, bro, I felt confident. LSU was gonna win that game because the key to that game, I thought LSU had bigs that can stop old girl from getting easy layups off the pick and roll. They have athletic bigs that can move their feet. Um, I knew that would give uh, old girl would get her points, but she was gonna take a lot of shots to get her points. She just was gonna have like free drive to the back. She was getting whatever she wanted on South Carolina because South Carolina girls was just they were too slow on the pick and roll. Um, then LSU girls came with a chip on their shoulder. They was talking that talk before the game even started, saying, you know, she wasn't gonna disrespect them like that. She wasn't just gonna leave them open. And if she does,
Whoa,
they was
whoa,
gonna
whoa,
make
whoa,
a.
whoa. Listen.
But it's
Let's
my
stay in
take.
a. Hold on, no. We're hold on. It's not about a take about that. We talk about. I gave you the floor to give your team the props for winning the championship. You're going a different lane.
I'm telling you the keys. What made them win the championship? You said breakdown, so I'm
No,
giving
I
you the
said,
keys.
but that ain't no breakdown, bro. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that a little bit in a couple minutes.
Okay.
Just give your thoughts on
Well,
winning
the
the
key.
chip.
So you know they came out ready, great, prepared. You know, coaching wise, the ref it was trash. You put the stars in foul trouble early. LSU bench was the difference. Like Boosie done gave her names LSU Ice Spice came and went off.
Is that what he
Oh
called him?
yeah, LSU. The world calling them now. LSU Ice Spice. That's what the world calling her now. Boosie done gave her a name, but you know, she came in, went off. It was the bench of LSU, hold it down while they stars was in foul trouble. Great win. You know, the girls made history. both ways, being the first LSU team, and LSU done had some dogs, but never was able to get out the Final Four. And just a great overall team win. Everybody stepped up. The whole team stepped up. Everybody did what they had to do, and it was a great win. The girls scored 100 points, first time ever women ever scored 100 points in the tournament. So overall, man, it was a great team effort. Everybody came to play their role. Everybody stepped in, and everybody contributed to the win.
What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, man. Like we talked about last week, we said the keys to the game: can LSU hit shots? Right? Can their guards make shots? And Carson, young lady, saved it. Right, first half, 21
The
points.
Ice Spice, man.
Right,
I told you.
she hadn't scored 21 points total in the previous probably 5 games. Right, and she was the key to them winning that game because without her points, with Moore being in foul trouble, Angel Reese being in foul trouble, didn't play the whole second quarter, and Morris been in foul trouble, she really saved the game for them and kept it open. And listen, they gave Iowa all they can handle on the inside. They made Caitlin Clark work for her shots. And we was watching in the sports, but I'm telling you, like, bro, she's getting a lot of easy shots. But at some point, like I said, you live and die by the jumper, you die by the jumper. But at the end of the day, LSU played a great game. They hit all the shots because that's what we talked about. All the previous, even when they got blown out by South Carolina regular season, they couldn't shoot. Even when they was in the game with early in the rounds in the tournament, they struggled to shoot the basketball. Yeah, they'll hit a few shots here and there, but they just always struggle to hit the big shots. And kudos to LSU, Malky. They hit those big shots, and that's what we talked about. That was the keys to the game. When they hit the shots, they won the game big and come.
I agree. I mean, we're all on the same page, man. You had to you gotta get you have to give LSU their credit for playing the best game they played all season,
Mm-hmm.
saving that game and playing that game in the championship game. I mean, none of us predicted that they would have the shooting expedition that they had against Iowa. Iowa's not a great defensive team, but it is positive to see a team that can step up and make those type of plays when they need to at the right moment of the season. And that's the biggest game in in LSU college women's basketball history. And they shot the ball so tremendously well that it put Iowa in a decimate immediately. And they was always playing from behind, trying to play catch up to a team that's not a great defensively. It just helped them set the tone for that game and put that game on very early. There was times where Iowa made runs that you may thought like, okay, you know what? Because they got probably one of the greatest. They probably got the greatest, if not one of the greatest, women's shooters or scorers, or just players in collegiate basketball history. But even with her greatness in times, they can never catch up because LSU kept pressing the matters when it comes to hitting great shots and keeping the scoring. And shout out to Angel Reese for way she rebounded the ball in that third and fourth quarter, especially the third quarter, because when even like I said before, when I had spurts on scoring wise and cut it down to 7 points, it was her offensive rebounding that kept them um, afloat. And even when they were missing shots, it was just her rebounding the ball, putting those putbacks in, and getting to the free throw line that helped them as far as capturing and keeping that lead and eventually winning the championship. And is it Markley? What's her name? Markley, Coach Markley. Is it
Malky.
Markley?
Mulkey,
Markey.
Mulkey.
Markey. So I mean, just shout out to her for I don't know trusting in her bench to the point where she kept them in the game as long as she did because she could have said, you know what, I'm not sure these young ladies can get us over this hump, and I was gonna make a run. I was a very great or good offensive team, but shout out to her for being like, I'm gonna trust in my bench and see where they take us, and it was very key. Keely getting her fourth foul. I mean, it's not her fourth, her third foul before the half. That was huge. That one of her key bench players came in and took a very um, debated charge, but it was something that you got to be like, you know what, that was a great play on her behalf because that led to her having to come out the game and she was able to keep pushing that lead up. So shout out to the bench for them, like you guys said, man, and kudos to Louisiana State University for winning the championship. All right, all
Agreed.
right. So we gave our kudos.
It's
Now
time
it's
for the
time to
controversy.
dive into the conversation,
Yeah.
right? So I think the first thing we can talk about before we get into the after game antics and situation, let's get to the end game conversation. And Key, I'm gonna start you with this. Let's get into Angel Reese's antics. Um, when she felt like when the game was over and she knew she was gonna win this championship. How did you feel about her and what she was how she was displaying her sportsmanship, we would call it at that point. Um, at that point in the game, did you have any issues with it?
No issues at all. You know, girl been talking all season. That's who she is. She a shit talker. You know what I'm saying? So, and once you win, bro, can't nobody tell you how to celebrate. Shit. You want to stop somebody from celebrating, you got to beat them. You got to shut them up that way. There ain't no certain way you can celebrate. Celebrate how I want to. I'm a national champion. And you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna pop my shit, especially after people been telling them all year that, you know what I'm saying? They hadn't played nobody. They got disrespected in the tournament, being a 3 seed after they only lost 2 games. They had the second best record in college basketball and was being a 3rd seed. So, all that probably, yeah, emotion. And you know what I'm saying? That's how she reacted after winning, bro. She was just had, she had been talking all tournament, drawing the manifesting it, drawing the ring on her finger, you know what I'm saying, from the Final Four with markers. And, you know what I'm saying, she just was full of emotions then, hey, that's all in sports, bro. Shit talking. Don't have people, but everybody celebrate difference. Nobody says nothing when the men run and stump on the star, or you know what I'm saying, or go around there with the flag and taunt, and you know what I'm saying. So some people, I just didn't like to respond to people, older white men probably ain't never played sports before, calling it uh she not got class or trash or mom ain't raising her right. Like, bruh, you can't tell somebody how to celebrate. Everybody celebrate different. I done heard, but what's the chick name? Caitlin Clark was doing it. She was running down the court doing it. Okay, that was her way of celebrating. My way of celebrating is, you know what I'm saying, letting you see it or whatever. So I ain't had a problem with it, bro. It's part of sports. At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, that took away from talking about a great game they played, then for 2 days talking about the controversy of the thing. So, but my issue, I ain't had no way with it. You want to stop somebody, like they said, you don't want me to dance in the end zone, stop me from scoring. So, hey, you know what I'm saying? You want to shut somebody up, beat them. If they win, they got the right to celebrate how they want to celebrate.
Yeah, Keith said it all, bro. Like, I don't have a problem with it. Growing up in the black community, playing in the parks, and Reese played in Baltimore, in the playground. That's what you do. Like, you're gonna dish it, you gotta give it, you gotta take it. And at the end of the day, like you said, that's how she wanted to celebrate. And yeah, you getting back at Caitlin Clark, right? Because Caitlin Clark did it before. Like, she did it in the previous game, going down, doing that. So it just made for a good antics into the game, right? Even if she didn't do that, that's how she wanted to celebrate, and I love it, man. It brings more popularity to the women's game. I love to show the emotion of winning the championship. She may not win another championship, right? So enjoy this moment because tomorrow is not promised. It may not happen again, right? And at the end of the day, people that's bashing her, they know they down bad. It's a black and white thing. At the end of the day, that's exactly what it is. Call it how it is, black and white. And, if Caitlin Clark was reversed and she was doing it, nobody wouldn't say nothing. Nobody would have a problem with it. And I think that's why you got so many people, jumping on the Key Overman and the other guy, I forgot his name, talking about his classless, bro. Like, how is it? It's sports. Nobody talked about Larry Bird talking trash and getting on him. Michael Jordan was one of the best trash talkers ever, right? Nobody talks about that. But at the end of the day, when a black young lady do it, it's classless and, it's tacky. All because it's a woman. At the end of the day, bro, she's an athlete. Treat her as that. Don't treat her because she's a woman or a man. She's enjoying the moment. That was her way of celebrating, and I loved it. At the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
enjoy it, bro. Enjoy it.
And it grew the
So
game. Got
I'm
more.
I'm 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 in agreement to half of what you guys said, and so one coming from where I come from and where we all come from, as far as in that black community, I mean that type of trash talk is fairly norm. It is something that we celebrate a certain different way in certain ways. Not overall, because that's not every black community is not always the same nature. I mean, I get it. She come from Baltimore. We if we're all sitting in our we call our studio. We raise our hand who live in Baltimore. Growing up, it'd be only one person, which would be me. So I understand like how the notion of Baltimore and life and shit like that, like and things of that nature, that how things go. So I do feel like there is a stigma when black people try to celebrate situation wise and how we do things. People want to scrutinize it to a certain level why we can't they feel like we have to celebrate a certain way. We don't need to celebrate a certain way. We celebrate how we want to. So
Yeah.
I respect that in that notion. I will say this. What she did was excessive. 100%.
Mm.
100%. What she deserved though was a tech. I
Yeah,
feel
they could have
like
gave it that.
they should have gave her a tech. She
Oh,
was
the game was
excessive.
over. Game was
It
It
over.
doesn't.
was still going on,
No,
but
the game was over pretty much when they threw the tick. When they called the tick on Katie Clark, Katie Clark for throwing the ball behind her back. When she dropped the ball off, they gave her a tick for that. They should gave her a tick for it because she sought out and looked out for her. She tried to let her know that she was winning that championship, that we're about to win this championship, and she wanted her to see and address her in whatever fashion you want to say. We whether you want to say first of all, whether it was you can't see me, Jester, whether you want to talk about the context of it when it comes to Caitlin Clark, that's a different conversation. We all, if you know the context of what happened in that conversation, you would know that the girl from Louisville and her, they were kind of going back and forth. The Louisville girl was still talking shit. It was a conversation going back and forth on that level, and she let her know like you can't play me, and she just balled out on that end. And I have no problem with Caitlin Clark. That's why I don't have no problem with Angel Reese what she did. All I say will tell people is I watched that and I watched it again. She it was like about 30 seconds that she was like, yo, going to her, walking around her in circles
yeah,
to let her know that yo, and at that point, that's what excessive is. When you look at the definition of excessive, that's excessive. Like there's a difference between celebration and it's if she would have been doing a ring finger on the bitch, that's not technically excessive because she's away from her. She walked around her
wanted
for a
her to
while
know.
and then kept let
Yeah.
her know. And that's what excessive is. So
Yeah,
she deserved a tech. That's what
yeah,
she
he probably could have
deserved.
gave her that.
The game was over. And to
What a
me,
tech would
that's
have
like
did though. What a tech would have did. They still gonna.
the tech overall what it said, we recognize you doing excessive shit. What did the tech
Like,
do against what did the tech do with Kaden Clark? She rolled the ball backwards. They felt like she was disrespecting them.
she
They
was.
already Nope, they already said they had a dead ball foul. I mean, a dead ball foul. But they had already had a dead ball warning for not inballing the game for inbounds. So they felt like, yo, like you're testing our patience. That's testing their patience too. It was both ends of the spectrum, and that's the only thing I'd had a problem with. What I didn't like, for because first of all, if you paid attention to, first of all, if you pay attention to that weekend, not just the weekend, but that game, I it to me, I don't know if it was an NCAA frame of mind or if it was just a media frame of mind. Somebody decided to make this about black and white. Somebody tried to say this is about to be a black against white situation. Because what I don't understand is when I would play South Carolina, I mean, last time I checked, South Carolina's top starting five was black. Right? So why did nobody then post this video of our warming up against South Carolina warming up? There was apparently it was no black against white at that point because either somebody felt like Don Staley being a black coach and having a dominant black team was not going to be conducive to the situation. I don't know where the logic was, but to me it just felt like it was people try to paint this picture against our LSU that was black against white, and it wasn't. It was two teams who won their semifinals game, and probably had two of the I would say two of the four 2 to 4, because I mean I think two of the other team, I think South Carolina had two of the best players, but two of the four best players in the tournament playing in that game. So to me, I didn't understand with Reese too, because Reese is a very good player. I didn't understand, like it felt like it was a marketing ploy on people and made people like, and it made, and this reason why I honestly believe why they had 9.9 million views, because the common fan was watching that game. Not even the common fan, the non fan watching that game. And whatever supportive nature you have, whatever and whatever your thoughts are, how you do with life and race and situation, you are cheering for who the hell you looks like you.
Yeah.
And that's what I watched that game. That's why I felt like it was just like, because I was like, I'm like shit. The South Carolina and our game 2 days before, I'm watching that game and I'm feeling like they got 5.5 viewers, right? But it looked at it like people were just looking at like what Caleb Clark's going to do against South Carolina, because they're the best team in college basketball, and it just felt like it was a bigger ploy to it. I felt like the LSU ladies kind of was agitating certain situations that I'm like, yo, like I don't understand why that's even an issue, because I just felt like it was a game between teams who had two different styles. LSU style was just better than our style,
They beat them.
and that's why they beat them. And like I said, I just think the Tech would have, like, the Tech for me would have shown it was excessive. Like if you go back and watch it again, like truly watch it again, like take your
He did like
bias
twice,
out.
right?
Like she walked around it 3 times.
Yeah, I
like,
think
yo,
I think if they'd have
like
gave
she
it a
walked
check
around
like
it three
initially, she probably
times.
wouldn't have. She definitely would have stopped. If they'd
She
have gave
was
it a check like initially, she
like,
probably would have
yo,
stopped.
like she did it 3 times. She didn't like walk around it once or twice. And then they were subbing, and she just waited and just like kept doing it. Like, and the girl was looking at her coach, and she just stood there. They were subbing her out, and she stood there. Like, there's a difference between like, yo, like I'm about to win this chip versus that issue. And we can talk about this real quick. The one thing I did not like what LSU did, they tried to align the fact that she wave off the fact she didn't want to run out there to the South Carolina player, because in where we grew up, and maybe where I grew up at, that's called self check.
Oh shit.
And she literally and she did that, and everybody was like, people were trying. They used that as a like, we didn't like the way she disrespected her, but I'm like, they got that for LSU. LSU didn't guard her in that game against South Carolina on February 12th. That was a game they didn't guard. They literally stood away from her, and 55 was roaming in the paint, and they literally took the same. I took the strategy for LSU and did the same thing. So I'm just like, why y'all mad? Like, they literally took the same situation and said, you know what, we're gonna do the same thing against her, because she's a reluctant shooter. She doesn't want to shoot that three. She wants to drive in, to kick, or do what she's doing to set people up. I just didn't understand, like, what, like they literally, and the girl, Reese, she said that one of the in the end of the at this trophy celebration. She said that, like, yeah, we didn't like the way she. I'm like, well, shit, they got that from y'all. They didn't get that from anybody else. So, like, what's your issue? To me, I didn't understand the collation of what their issue was overall with Iowa, or just in general with Caitlin Clark. I mean, I feel like I can understand what their issue with the media, and like I said, we can talk about that too. The media, not just the media, but the social media. But I
Oh
didn't
yeah, they
understand
went
her.
off.
I didn't understand the issue with her, with Clark, and just the Iowa team, because shit, man, at the end of the day, that's just two teams battling out.
But I think they just use stuff to motivate them because they was, you know what I'm saying? Certain people, all right, we're going to take this and motivate us for us to knock down shots. You know what I'm saying? Because they was talking about it before the game even started. She ain't going to disrespect us like that. She ain't going to just walk off and leave us. We're going to make her pay. So it was just used for motivation. Everybody grabbed
But
stuff for
but
motivation.
key, but
And I,
key. But let me ask you this question now. But saying before the game, you talk about motivational um things they want to utilize. Before that same game, Reese went into our locker room and dapped up Clark and showed love. That actually
yeah.
happened.
But I don't
But hold
think they
on.
got no. I don't think they beefing or nothing. It's just like you said. Once you between those lines,
But that's
you know
not.
what I'm
But that's not
saying?
what I'm. But hold on. But no. But when they got the championship,
Mhm.
she directly point that out, like the disrespect that she like the Clark or for Al, and I'm like, what disrespect? She went into their locker room before the game and showed love to Clark. It wasn't like it was an issue.
But I'm
There's
just,
a
yeah,
difference
they
between
just
you
use
saying
it. They just use it
like
for motivation.
but do you feel like they could just kept that to themselves? Why
Nah,
why make that?
hey, bro,
Why
that's
put
gonna
that?
if that's
Why
gonna
the
fuel
world doesn't
you.
know that?
But if that's gonna feel, cause they talking their shit after, you know what I'm saying? And they've been doing it all year. And you know, you had people that hated LSU for that. Like, man, that team too cocky. They talk too much. They just need to play. Da da da. They've been talking all year. You know what I'm saying? That's just part of they team flamboyant. They, you know what I'm saying? Even talking to like the chick I know who was a South Carolina fan before the turn. I like, I hope they meet. She was like, yeah, I like LSU. I hope they meet too, but they just too cocky for me. I like, why you say that? 'Cause, you know, Reese and them, they there, Flood J. I'm like, that's swag. That's the way they play. You know what I'm saying? So some people can't talk shit and play. You know what I'm saying? They can talk it and they can play good. So it's just part of they bravado. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
They a shit
so
talking team.
that was a part of the Movado. Where was that Movado when he lost by 24?
Hey, that's what I'm saying.
Where
Hey,
were
that's what
they?
I'm
Where were
saying.
that
And they
Movado?
and
Where were that?
right, but I'm saying you ain't gonna win every game. But they said, you know what I'm saying, reset that game, losing to South Carolina and losing to who are they lost? Tennessee?
Tennessee. They lost to the
Uh,
Tennessee in the SEC
Yeah,
championship game.
yeah,
I mean
yeah, Tennessee.
SEC
They
SEC
said
tournament.
that's what they said. That Tennessee loss made them hungry. After that Tennessee loss, that's when they said, you know what? That's when we got to go in killer mode. It was after the Tennessee loss.
Okay. Okay.
yeah, I mean, I don't. People use whatever they want for self motivation. I think that's what Moore took it as. I mean, yes, he said it publicly, but what did LSU do from a jump shooting standpoint to get respect? Right, bro? They probably one of the worst shooting teams outside maybe South Carolina in the SEC, probably. And I ain't even looking at the stats. And it just hasn't proved that they can hit jumpers into the championship game. So if Caitlin Clark would have did it again, if you want to feel as disrespect, all right, cool, whatever you want to do to
Motivation.
motivate you, cool. Like it is what it is.
Shit, Joe used to make up people in his head say something.
Yeah, bro. Like I mean, her doing that to the the South Carolina girl, man. I mean, it is what it is, dog.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's
Scouting report.
It's just basketball,
Yeah,
bro.
it's a scouting report.
Bro, like I thought it was cool. I thought it was like funny. I was like, damn,
Yeah.
boy, she
Yeah.
she just totally disrespecting her, but forcing her to shoot the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And if the score was close and roles were reversed, Caleb Clark probably would have did it again if LSU wasn't hitting no jumpers.
Mm-hmm.
Would have left off her again. So I mean, it just people want something to talk about. People just want to use something for motivation. If that's what motivated Moore or motivated Reese, then more power to them, man. Whatever get them up for the game, that's up to them. But I didn't see nothing wrong with
But
Caitlin
that's what
Clark
I'm saying.
waving off a girl disrespect at all.
But that's what I'm saying. You're saying that and Key's saying that. But at the end of the game, they made a point to point that out.
And
Doing
I didn't like that.
yourself.
I didn't like
And
that.
thank you. So that's all I'm
Yeah,
saying. Like that's all. Thank you for actually pointing what I'm pointing out. Like to
because
me,
you know
that ain't
why?
make.
Yeah, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No.
I didn't
Listen. Go
like it
ahead.
because you won. Like, why even worry about using that? Like, I wouldn't even brought it up, bro. I'm focusing on us. Like all the whole Caitlin Clark talk. We celebrating us. I'm not
No, that's
worrying about she disrespected us and this.
exactly.
It's about us winning this championship. It's about us focusing on us celebrating.
It's
It's about our first national championship.
is
If I was more, I wouldn't even brought that up.
is you're listening. It's more Reese. I think it's more right.
I think Moore said it. I didn't see where Reese
I don't
said it
know.
at, but she may have. But I
But
know
it's
when Moore was at the podium,
who's
Moore
number
number 45.
45?
No, Morris, right?
Morris.
Morris, number
Morris.
45.
Yeah.
She's the one said
Okay,
it
so
at
she
the
said
post
it. My
game
bad.
podium.
Sorry. I got it wrong.
Yeah, she the one
That
said
name is
it. I'm
Morris.
like, why? Like, why even bring it
And
up?
and that's what I'm saying. Like that's my issue. That's what I'm talking about. It's not just an issue. It's just things I need to point out. All I think is I'm pointing out is that why you bring that up at that point of the celebration? You've already won the chip, and you should know because you employed that same strategy against South Carolina. They got it from somewhere. So like it's like why I mean like you just said, Key, that's a decent for strategy. It's a strategy. Why would you look at that as a negative? That's what I didn't understand for me. I didn't understand that part. Like, why would you look at that as something you need to discuss? Like, oh, we didn't like that. Like, and I would have been like, if you look at that, you're like, well, what you mean they like it? They got that from you guys. They got that from your
Right.
strategy and the game plan you put out there in February the 12th. Like, at this point, what's the issue? To me, they were searching for something. It was like, yo, like, at the end of the day, man, you were the better team. You had a better game
Celebrate.
plan. You had a better coach at this point. Man, just go win that chip. Go celebrate that chip, man, and get ready for your parade, man. So let's talk a little bit now that we can transition from there. We talked about the game. We talked about the after game, just that day situation. Let's talk about the White House invite, not invite. Typhoon that happened. Um, as it's already been reported, Joe Biden tried to invite both teams. She felt like both teams were deserving to get to the White House, and we know that that's not true. Or that's just not how winners are being celebrated in any sports in the United States. So, Key, when you first seen that being publicized through Twitter or whatever else, um, atmosphere that was out there. What was your thoughts and how did you feel about that situation?
I first was saying stuff. I like, shit, this got to be a joke. Like, I had to Google it. I had to like pull the article up and like, damn, she really said that shit. Like, how disrespectful. And my first thing was like, she wouldn't have did that shit if LSU would have lost.
Yeah.
And my thing was, if you're gonna do that, LSU shouldn't go. And so when Reese came out, you know, she straight Baltimore. She could have said, but she was like, it's a joke. And everybody, I loved everybody had her back, which it was, man. So in other words, they played hard. It was a good game. First of all, it wasn't a good game.
Yeah.
They got their ass kicked. And
Mm-hmm.
for you to say they're showing sportsmanship, what you felt bad for them because they lost and how she got taunted. In other words, that's what brought me to, because y'all feel bad. I was at the game. Them girls was crying. They all in their face, and we should invite both of them. Then I'm looking at, and it's our, and that's a big part of the campaign coming up. You know what I'm saying? make people in our vote for. But I'm like, yo, that is so disrespectful that you want to invite the loser where LSU have to share their spotlight with a team they beat for the national championship. And I was like, no, ain't no way. And LSU shouldn't go if they could do that. And I said, if it was the other way around, there's no way she'd have called up LSU and been like, oh, we want to invite y'all to the White House because y'all fought a hard game. And it just showed how white privilege is to me. That's what it is. Sometimes you can have so much privilege and don't even know what you're doing. It can be ignorant privilege. And she probably thought she was doing a good thing, but not looking at it from those girls' side view. Like, shit, we won a chip. That should never have been done in the history. Like Boosie say, you win, you go to the White House. You lose, you go to your house. So, you know what I'm saying? I was just glad, they stood up to it and said, this not right, everybody, from athletes.
We appreciate you calling your cousin Boozy.
Yeah, I love Boosie, man. Boosie for
we,
president.
we know we know
Yeah.
we know that's your little cousin.
Yeah, so
your little Baton Rouge cousin.
Yeah, so I was like, man, it's disrespectful. I'm glad, even though she didn't apologize, she had her.
Yeah.
But the girl the lady, what you call the ones who write for you?
Press secretary.
The press secretary ain't say the shit for you. You should have ran that idea before you was in there. She was in the moment. She talking in front of Iowa. And what you don't know, black women the one got your president in the White House. So don't bite the hand that feeds you. You know what I'm saying? It's black women who holds the Democrat down. You know what I'm saying? Giving you Atlanta, giving you all these states that we never won. Those are black women doing that. So I bet Joe Biden saw that shit and was like, man, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, please don't talk no more.
Stay out of sports.
Yeah, stay out of sports. Leave that up to me. You cannot invite the loser to the White House. Was you trying to get me out of office before we even run? So it was just like, and you got a doctor's degree. You thought that was smart? That's why I said sometimes you can be smart and don't have street sense, common sense.
As they say, bro, common sense ain't so common.
We're gonna talk a little bit about Like we're gonna give it, and we can get. I mean, listen, we can talk. We're gonna talk about a statement. We're talking about a statement now, but we're gonna talk about the response of Reese because I have my own issue with that too. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, yeah, Ray, give your thoughts on like Jill Biden's statement.
Yeah, it just came off like what it is, bro. Almost not. I wouldn't say racist, but it kind of comes off that way because
It is that way, right? Ain't no kind
Iowa's
of.
a predominantly white team, and we all know if LSU would have lost, she would have not have made that statement. Like we know that, right? And she can cover it up with the whole Title IX, the women's sports. Like you can cover it up how you want. But what I didn't like about it, even with the press secretary making the statement of, we're going to invite LSU, blah blah blah, and then Joe came out with his response, apologize,
Yeah.
right? Not from your press secretary. Jill Biden said, look, I made an honest mistake. I misspoke. I'm sorry to the LSU women's program. We would love to have you at the White House. And I think that would have deadened all of this. But for her to never apologize, even Joe Biden never apologized.
Nobody never
right?
apologized.
So that's how you feel if I'm LSU, you feel disrespected. And now you claim I'm going to Obama's house. Now you pushing that, right? So now you're going to put the LSU school in a whole pickle. Like, we going, but the team gonna show up, or Angel Reese, or what you know what I'm saying? Like, but Joe
I'm
Biden,
a,
I just think it
but
came
hold
off
on,
racist.
but hold on for you say for you keep going on that, bro. I don't want
Mm-hmm.
to give any. First of all, I'm never in my lifetime ever going to feel like we need to give the Louisiana State University some reprieve or notion that we give a shit about whether they feel uncomfortable of a situation. No, that's not going to
Well, I'm
happen.
just
Like
saying as a
no,
school, so you feel like damn, like should we go, not go? Like it's an honor to go to the White House as a
you,
champion, right? It's
you
an honor.
recruit, you recruit. If you recruit black athletes, you should always feel like there can be a nature of some indifference of like how some policies and political situations happen, right? Because
Absolutely.
all black athletes come from the same area, same place in life, and the same locations, locale wise. So I can care less that LSU had a disposition of issues. This institution is a state-funded institution that's not only focused on situation. I can care less how they felt, but I
Well,
get
I
what you're
mean,
saying.
you may feel that way, but the players clearly felt the way, right?
Hmm.
And now you're gonna put them in a situation like. And Reese even said, like, I'm a team player, I'm a go. I mean, you don't have to go, right? Like there's many players miss the White House visit if you just feel that way, right? Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, you want to be there for your team, right? She said she would go. At the end of the day, stand on what you stand on. Like, don't if you feel away, don't go. If you
Stay
felt that you
calm.
didn't like how Jill Biden, what she said, and you feel like you don't like the apology that you didn't get, don't go, right?
Stay
Hey
It's a
calm.
free
Ray,
world.
Ray,
Wait,
Ray.
wait, wait,
Th-
wait, wait, bro. Wait, I'm gonna let you get your
th- th-
turn in. I'm gonna let you get
all
your
right.
turn in. Because you're late, you're last.
He's
So double L.
just jumping on in.
You're late, you're
Hey,
last.
I'm cool. Hey, I'm cool with it. Ain't no problem.
I'm gonna let you get your final thoughts in it. Let me give it because I'm gonna keep it quick right here on this one. Jill Biden misquote, misspoke. Never should put that tweet out there. That's not how America runs the celebration of champions, especially when it comes to the White House. We do not bring in losers, Title IX or beyond. Doesn't matter. We don't bring in losers. Loser of that championship game. I don't call them losers. The loser of the championship game to the White House. Doesn't happen. Listen, at the end of the day, if she was probably more she had a better understanding of that situation, she can always could have got our way in to the White House on a private ceremonial visit that does not need to be publicized throughout the media. So she definitely was not right on that, and there are some racial undertones to that. 100%, it's racial undertones to that. So I agree with you, Keon. Absolutely, it should have. If there was it was a reverse, it would not happen the same way. So we all know that we've already seen it. So when teams are losing, I watch South Carolina come to winning sports lose a semifinals game with the girl Atlanta Boston missing a last second um, layup,
Yeah,
almost a
last year.
layup, It rimmed out. No, 2 years ago. It rimmed out. She
Yeah,
won it
2 years
last
ago.
year. It rimmed out
Oh,
against Stanford. Stanford.
yeah,
It was in
yeah.
Stanford, and nobody was like, "Hey, we're gonna invite y'all together." Y'all in the Final Four. Nobody cared, bro. So like, it was definitely not a situation that you need to say those type of statements. And I don't know what she was thinking. It just didn't warm well. Now I would say I thought Angel Reese's immediate response to it was very strong and was correct, 100%. But that's before I actually understood that she didn't have a great response. She didn't have a collective response from the team. Apparently, the team was. She said it, but apparently the team was not all the team was aligned with her. And as somebody who I thought was a spokesman of the team, it just feels like maybe she should have dived in a little bit more. We can get into that as well, but I just didn't like Joe. I didn't like Joe Biden's response, and that's the question here. Joe Biden's response to me didn't sit well. D, clean, end this up, man. End the conversation on this one.
I mean, what y'all said is the truth. Like Jill misspoke. Um, she shouldn't have never said anything. She should have did what like everybody else do. We're going to invite the LSU team to the White House. They won the women's national championship, and that should have been it. You can't. The problem is so much is people are ready to be the quick draw and ready to jump on something. Who cares if Iowa played great? Who cares? You didn't invite TCU. Georgia beat the brakes off of them. You didn't invite them.
Right.
And they beat them bad. They beat them just as bad as LSU beat Iowa. So I'm just saying, like, people are looking for stuff to involve other people. And that's the problem. Just because they play good, you don't involve them. They lost.
Give them that
And that's just the
trophy.
bottom line. And you
we
gotta
don't do those.
and they came in second. And Angel Reese do have a great response. If we would have lost, Caitlin and the whole Iowa country would have been at the White House. Period. LSU would have been sitting at the house, and that's just been what it was. So at the end of the day, she didn't misspoke. She said what she felt in the moment, which a lot of times that a lot of people do, instead of just taking that second step and saying, hold up, is this the right thing? But she felt some kind of way of all the melee and other stuff that was going on within the game, and she said what she felt. It's not a misspoke. A lot of times we keep saying people misspoke, but you see the situation. You done heard the reports. Everybody listen to the sports world like everybody else. She said what she wanted to say. That's why she never apologized. Let's just keep it real. She said what she wanted to say. And when people came out and said what they really felt, then it's like, hold on, wait a minute, I did make a mistake. But like you say, she never apologized because she felt she doesn't have to apologize. Just because your press secretary rolled it out, it's no different than when a black athlete does something and we have to come out and apologize, or we have to come out. We don't want to do it, but at the end of the day, we do it. Even whether we right or wrong, we do it. So she should have did the same thing. But then
And
you
Donovan,
already know what it's about.
one
Yeah.
second. But I heard they called her, but I don't know. You need to make that public. I heard you got a personal phone call. Yeah, but you need to make that public because you said it public. You should apologize public.
Yeah, and that's my thing. Who cares? Who cares at this point in time? You made the statement. The press secretary, your press person didn't make the statement. You made the statement. And then when you got the same life and the egg on your face, now all of a sudden, let me retract it. You know what I'm saying? But it's not cool. It's not cool. And this is where, and I would say, I know we're going to get to this. This is where Angel Reese has to be smart. And from here on out, she has to be smart in everything that she does. She got to be real smart.
I don't think she.
No. And I'm just talking about in the sense of there's a bullseye on her back. Not because that is right. Because everything she said to Jill Biden and everything that she said was actually the truth. It was the truth.
I don't agree with you saying.
Okay, I'm just saying.
I mean, you're just saying. I don't agree. I don't agree with everything you're saying because, I mean, Angel Reese is a college student, so to put the pressure on her, making sure that first, I mean, we can really just let loose right now. To be honest with you, Angel Reese has to learn that there is a level of articulation that she has to get to at some point. Like, I mean, I listened to what she had to say. Um, I get that she feels like she's speaking to a level of audience of young black women or women that are centered to be like that's come from her background, but she at this point has a law not to speak to everyone. She doesn't have to just speak to people that have the similar background that she has, and that's what she's going to have to figure out. Like, all right, I have this opportunity, and you may not ever get it again to be able to get your message, whatever message that you want to portray out there to the community of people across the lines of all genres and races, maybe at times. It doesn't have to just be two young women that look and sound and act of like her. Like it doesn't have to be like that. It can be beyond all of that. And hopefully she just realized the level of power and the mechanism that she can have and moving forward. And that's gonna take time. That takes actually time. So at times when I would listen to some of the things she was saying, I wish the perspective she would have had could have been a little bit more um, um, outlining things because I just felt like sometimes she didn't articulate her point the way maybe wanted to, and that's going to take time. She has the opportunity to work on that. That takes life growth. All of us go through it. Just how we translate and communicate is going it's going to take whatever she needs to take because you're coming from a certain level of life and you just have to keep growing as a human being. But I mean, no, she doesn't have to worry about a target on her back. Like she doesn't.
Sir, bro.
Now, I didn't like the fact that she doubled down on not going and then turned around and was like,
I'm
after
going.
further consideration and conversation, she's going. That
Somebody
problem
talk to her.
because the Biden situation happened, the conversation happened, the situation happened, everything went forward, and she said after that said, well, we can go to the Obamas. No, one of the other team members said that, but she agreed upon it. Yeah, we go to Obama, blah 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 blah. And
The
I got the
Obama
text
house,
message.
baby.
She had a text message say that the LSU, art, we ain't going. And then after the fact, that's what LSU people spoke up. So keep speaking on that a little bit, bro. Like after Angel gave her statement saying double down on it, I ain't trying to go to the White House. We're not going. LSU came in, and whether it's the PR, whether it's directive, whether it's the coach, whatever else, that department came in and said, yes, we're going to accept the invitation to go to the White House. What was your thoughts on that when you heard that information come from LSU?
Um, I felt like they should go. Once they said they wasn't gonna invite Alva, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you ain't gotta forgive her, but it's still about you and your team accomplishment. Uh like she said, she done went to the White House a couple of times, her teammates haven't. And still go and celebrate y'all. Y'all did a great thing. Yeah, she made a dumb remark, but don't let that stop y'all from going and get y'all shine. You know what I'm saying? Going up there to the White House, standing up in front, and get your picture taken. When you have kids one day, you know what I'm saying? You can show that picture. You there with a national championship 20 years from now or whatever. With the president and the vice president. You know what I'm saying? I can forgive you, but I ain't got to forget. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's about you and your team and LSU. It's not about uh, Biden and his wife. So at the end of the day, y'all earned it. So I didn't have a problem with LSU saying, we're gonna go. We'll go. If they invite us. But if Iowa was still going, then you don't go. But at the end of the day, it's bigger than Joe Biden and their wife. So I didn't have a problem with her backtracking and saying, you know what, it hurt in that moment. They called and they talked to me. Me and my team had a discussion. They want to go, so I'm a captain and I'm gonna be a team player and I'm gonna go with them. So I didn't have an issue. A lot of people saying, "Oh, stand on it." She made her point. So it's time to move on now. Go celebrate with your team and enjoy this summer. Because like Ray said, it's hard to win a championship. It ain't guaranteed you're gonna win another one. So take it all in. Get your NIL deals. Get your prices up. Take full advantage of the moment right now. Because you might not never been in this situation again. So I don't have a problem with them going. Because it's about them. Go get all the shine you want. Everybody in the world know your name now. And keep on letting them know your name. I don't care what country they in. They talking about Angela Reese. Her name is on fire right now.
I know I was on fire because, man, Keon sending every TikTok video, parade, every
It's a parade.
He about to be the number. You got your Barbie. What is it?
I can't get the Barbie. Barbie. I'm about to get that double though. That double queen.
That boy been on one. Jesus Lord. But yeah, man, I wish he would have probably said they had the phone call because, like I said, nobody knew that. But her to backtrack and said the team thing. That just tells me.
What do you mean by phone call right quick? So
he said he heard that Joe Biden called
or Angel
to apologize, whatever, right? But I think what it looks like, I don't think she's fully in agreement of going, but I think she's just gonna do it because of the team, right? But at the end of the day, it's a privilege, it's an honor to go to the White House, be celebrated, embrace your moment. Don't worry about the negativity from here on out. Don't worry about who's saying what. At the end of the day, call me a champion. It can't take that away from you, right? And enjoy it. Take all the benefits and reap all the benefits that comes from it. And at the end of the day, you got to go and prove it next year. You're the defending champion. The target is on your back. You got to come back better than you was this year. So I wish he would have, handled it a little bit differently. But, at the end of the day, she backtracked. But she's going to the White House, hopefully, and we'll see.
Dante, your thoughts, man?
Man, she's doing the right thing. Because if she didn't go and everybody else went, it would have been like she's selfish. That would have been the narrative. But everybody, for us people who understand the situation, they would have been like, well, she do have a right not to go. But the narrative wouldn't have been like that. The narrative been, well, she's standing by herself. And like you said earlier, one of the other girls said, well, let's go to Obama's. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't fully say that they wouldn't go to the White House. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, she's doing the right thing. And like he said earlier, they won the championship. You know what I'm saying? They won the championship. They did what they had to do to win. And everybody don't go to the White House as a champion. Everybody don't go. Everybody in college basketball, when they go to school, they go to win a championship or whatever, but they don't win, and you never go to the White House. So they did what they had to do. It's a privilege. They won the championship there first. And at the end of the day, you go and enjoy it. Because guess what? The same people who talking about her, they're going to go home and go to sleep. They don't care. I'm going to say what I got to say and keep it moving. So that's how she got to look at it. You say what you had to say. I'm going to still go up here and get my jersey, get my sign, and hope to be there the following year. Period. Because ain't too many people can say that they won a championship on a college level. And she's one of those people that can say that. The LSU Tigers women, this their first championship. So they can say that. And just take it and keep it moving. Because at the end of the day, you earn what you got. And nobody can take that away from you. Nobody. Jill can't do it. Joe can't do it. Nobody who got upset with her can't do it. Because guess what? At the end of the day, she's earning what she feels like she should have. Like you said, she's getting the meal deals. She's doing everything. And her team is going to build off of that. She's the captain. She's the captain. And no matter what she does, this is part of her life. This is going to be her makeup as she get older. As she get older and go to the WNBA, this is going to be a part of her life. And some people might say, damn, I want my life to be like that as well. So, I give them all the credit in the world. And I just think that she's doing the right thing, the team's doing the right thing, and just keep it moving.
Yeah, I agree with everybody. I agree in this sense that, for her, eventually, she's got to, first of all, she had to move on anyway. The way the world works and the way media information translate, she has to move on. The one thing I didn't, so the Jill Biden situation happens, and then before that happens, and I didn't mention before, she was on, after her end of the game comments, she was talking about how she just felt disrespected by the media, but then she found out that the media is really social media because she was on Twitter looking at Twitter comments, not necessarily looking at the actual media. So I feel like it's a diluted frame of mind anyway when she came to that issue, and then Joe Biden shit happens, and then she took offense at what she deserved to. Um, but after that part, I think it's something to be mishandled. When she doubled down on her notion that she didn't want to go to the White House, I can tell just by how everything translated afterwards that she didn't have the full confidence of her team. She had the full confidence of the university and the support from the university. And apparently, the university did not feel how she felt. And that's gonna be a learning lesson for her, like in moving forward, like understanding that there's always gonna be when you are at an institution like LSU, and I can use Alabama or Georgia or Tennessee or any of these institutions, especially in the SEC, there is a bottom line frame of mind. And when it comes to that, they're going to look for the bottom line situation and not necessarily your situation. I mean, I would not look at LSU as some type of modern university that's going to support African Americans understanding rights and frame of mind. I just don't think any and Clemson too. While you laughing in the background, uh, University of
I
Miami.
never, I never, I never started laughing. That wasn't me
Oh,
laughing.
yeah. Oh, I didn't know that was you, brother. There. I didn't know who it was, but anyway, I was just trying to make a point. Um, I just felt like it just don't. I don't think any university and these universities care that much. They're not. They don't care. They care about the athlete, but they care about the bottom line and what the athlete brings to the university. And that's just how what happens to you when we go to these universities, support these universities. When you're your child, whether a student athlete or just a student. It's just that's what happens. That's the nature of it. So it's just like everybody's saying, it's just a learning lesson for her. She had to understand like eventually you're gonna have to, and you're either gonna stand on the 10 toes deep, like what's going on at the in the at the Tennessee Congress, within the Tennessee Congress, with the two gentlemen that got expelled out of
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee Congress. Or you gonna stand 10 toes deep on what you want, so you to get to that level, or you just gonna in situation wise, you're gonna understand like the powers that be are going to change your mind. You have to go keep moving forward, and you look within and focus on your own brand and how you want to motivate people, and you can support your community through your brand, through your support system, to help your community moving forward. It's a tough situation that she kind of put herself in for trying to be the spokesman and speaking for the team. Um, but I do feel like, I'm glad that she decided to move forward with her team. She gonna have to. She could just went home.
You ain't have
I
to.
mean, she could
Still
have said,
don't.
"I'm fine." She could have said, "Hey, when they fly into, if it's a private plane, they fly Andrews Air Force Base. She ain't gotta go down 495 to 295 or go down or 495 or whatever else. She can just say, you know what, I'm good, and head straight up to straight up 485 to 95 to Baltimore. She ain't gotta go nowhere else. She
You
can
ain't
just
gotta
stay
go.
there. She ain't gotta go nowhere else. But if she wants to, man, listen, kudos for her for that. We're not here to bring anybody down. My thing was just about there were some steps being made on her behalf and situationally that I hope that she just focus on, just keep building who she is as a person, um, her understanding what the power she has, and the message she brings, man. So, any more comments on this? Anybody else got any more statements on it? Keon, you got anything over there? Because Ray's actually
Nope.
keep you at the camera view. Ray's keep you at the camera view. He's like
Now
literally
he in there.
trying
I'm
to.
here.
He
He
trying to
in
keep
there.
you at the camera.
I give him his little spotlight.
I'm just kidding, man. I'm just kidding right there. All
I
right,
give him a
man.
little
So
spotlight.
let's get. What about you, Don? You got anything else?
Nah, I mean, at the end of the day, she did what she had to do. Move forward.
So that means you have something else to say. This is all
I
right,
don't
bro.
let
So
him talk to you like that, dog. The
let's
eldest
get.
spokesman of.
Yeah, you are the oldest person on the podcast, brother. But no, let's
For
get into
sure.
You can't let him talk to your eldest like that, man.
But
let's
but
get
on another
into
note, folks.
as the
But on
eldest.
another
Hold
but
on, as the
on another note, before we leave all the, but kudos to like women basketball, bro. Seem like they got to keep this momentum going
yeah, we
until
said
next
that.
year.
We said that.
Yeah. So
They
yeah,
gotta know how to keep marketing the game, but it was a fantastic weekend overall.
yes, it was
Overall,
better
Let-
than the championship we about to talk about.
And we about to talk about the men's championship right now. We're gonna let D start this off because UConn is his team. Apparently, is his team. Is that your
All
team?
day. All
Okay.
day. All
Is that
day.
men? Is that men and women's or just men?
Both.
Okay, cool.
Both.
So
But
we're
yeah,
gonna talk
find out.
about UConn and why they not considered one of those blue blood programs in college basketball. So D, UConn won the championship, fifth national championship. Why y'all not considered as one of those dominant blue blood champions? Y'all had more championships since 1999 than any
Mhm.
organization,
Yeah.
any university in college basketball. So
Mhm.
give us
Hey,
your thoughts.
man.
Why y'all not considered blue blood, brother?
Everybody got to have a black sheep. We the black sheep of the college basketball.
Oh
But,
yeah.
when you win championships, you don't have to say nothing. We don't have to do what Key do, send T-shirts out and all that. When you're used to winning, you don't have to do all that. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to go crazy. When you run a good program, and Key, let me put something in your ear.
You trying to say
Do
Kid used to
program.
be in there before?
Hey, they ain't used to be in there before. When we used to winning, dog, you don't have to get upset. You don't have to say nothing. And guess what? Jay Billis even said it himself. We've been a blue blood. But at the end of the day, we not the North Carolinas. We not the Dukes. And guess what? We're doing
Donovan,
with
what you
less
said?
athletes.
Hold up, Donovan.
Our
What you
program
said?
is better than Dukes. Our program is better than Dukes.
Well, you could never.
Let me explain. I'm gonna tell you why. We don't won championships with only 12 McDonald's All-Americans. Ever.
Stop
You
it.
look at Duke, they got 100 All-Americans? 100 McDonald's All-Americans? Close to it? And you only got 5? Success, you got 5 championships. We got 5 in 24 years. We got 5 in 24 years. We got 5 in 24 years.
They do got 5 too. UConn has 5
And that's what I'm
too.
saying. We got 5.
They
and
do.
we got
I'm
5
gonna
in
give them their
24
credit, but don't
years.
compare yourself to Duke.
No,
bro. Stop
hold
it.
on. We got 5 in 24
Why they
years.
can't? They got the same championships.
We
got 5 in 24 years.
It's just levels, bro.
Wait,
You know,
hold
when you
on,
see
hold on,
Duke,
hold
bro,
on, hold on.
you're talking royalty.
Mhm.
You know
But
what I'm saying,
hold
bro?
on, Key. But Key, you didn't hear what I said. We only had 12 McDonald's All-Americans.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
Y'all done got 100. Y'all got over 100 McDonald's All-Americans. 5 stars. 5 stars. And you
we
only
do.
got 5 championships.
We got
That's
5.
my point.
But
you
like
only got
Ray
5.
said, bro, you know how hard. You know how hard it's to win a championship, bro.
It is.
Bro, we
Bro,
got 5 in
let's
24
talk about.
years.
But let's talk about the Final Four appearances we got. Let's talk
It
about
don't
all
matter.
those.
We
It
got
does
5
matter.
in
No, it
24
don't. You always
years.
talk about nobody cares about second place.
Bro, I'm talking.
Nobody cares about
Exactly.
Big
Exactly.
You don't.
Exactly.
You yourself on the text.
Right.
When we talked about South Carolina and if they were to beat LSU, they wasn't there.
Right.
They didn't get there. So
Right.
I want Jimmy that Final Four appearance.
No, you're right. But I'm saying, yeah, because we're not about to
That's
talk
what you're
about
saying.
them over the
What you
champ.
saying then?
Because he bringing Duke up. I'm saying
No,
your
we got
program
5
is
in
not bigger
24
than Duke,
years.
period, bro. But your
Bro,
program
we
still
got-
not bigger than us. Your
How?
program is not bigger than us.
How? Y'all got all these players that came through Duke, dog, and we only got 12. Y'all got over 100 McDonald's All-Americans. We won 5 in 24 years. Hold on. And let me give you one better. With 3 different coaches.
Hey,
With
I'm
3
not taking
different coaches.
I'm not taking away from your championship. And y'all should be mentioned up there with the rest of me. But I'm just saying you're not bigger than us, bro. We the big
Oh,
dogs.
y'all got the bigger name, but you don't have the bigger
I'm the
program.
biggest.
Yes, we the
You the
biggest.
bigger name. You might have the bigger name, but we got the better program. We got the
No,
better
you won't.
program.
You got 5 just like us. You got 5
No,
just like us.
but we
So you
got
can't say
5.
you-
Hold on, we got 5. Hold on, we got 5 with 3 different coaches.
It don't
Less
matter.
talent that y'all.
We
Hold
ain't
on,
had.
and less
We ain't had the change.
No.
We had to go.
less talent than y'all done had.
Okay.
We done had less talent.
But hey,
Y'all
that
done had
ain't
all
all.
the talent.
That ain't that talent don't just win.
Ain't one with 3 different coaches. Ain't one with 3
Talent
different
just
coaches.
don't win championship, bro. It's about.
No, stop, Keith.
It
Keith,
don't.
At the end of
Talent
the
just
day,
don't win
at the end of the day, we be the black sheep. We don't mind. We don't even have to get upset. We got 5 and 24. That's all I got to say. 5 and 24. People don't like it, but we got 5 in 24 years. You can't say that.
We
Success
got 5.
can't say
I
that.
ain't worried about it. What you saying?
Success can't say that. And the
We
way
got
look at you, you
5.
gonna get one for a while. And the way look at you, you gonna get one for a while.
Hey, that's why you play the game, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's why you play the game to see.
Right now. But to get back on the topic, we don't have to say nothing, JD. We're used to winning. Yeah, it is.
Well, my thought on that, they definitely should be mentioned. You know, they buy a championship is a great accomplishment. Like I said, it's hard to win a championship. So I don't understand it. I think they probably do that because they don't have the names. You know what I'm saying? Like the girls, yeah. You know what I'm saying? That name that goes to the league. They don't have players who you gonna be like, man, he was one of the top 5 players they ever play in college. They don't have those type of names that won championships for them. You know, the Dukes and the Kentucky and the UCLA. They had those names that you're gonna talk about forever when it comes to college basketball, and that's the difference. And that's why people treat UConn like that, because who probably was their best player ever played? Richard Hamilton?
No.
Might be Kimber, though.
That's what I'm saying.
Might be Kimber. You might be Kimber. Might be Ray Allen.
Right.
Might be Karan Butler.
Maybe Ray Allen because he's a Hall of Famer.
But did Ray Allen win a
Might be Karan Butler. Might be Shabazz Napier.
Ray Allen won
a chip. Maybe Shabazz. No, Ray Allen didn't win a chip. No, he didn't. Ben Gordon.
Hold on 1 second. What Duke team was that was an all-time great team outside? Yeah, Christian Laettner, but that was it.
Grant Hill, Christian Laettner, Bobby Hurley. Grant Hill, Bobby Hurley, Christian Laettner.
Hold on. Let me finish. They were on the same team.
So, right, but I'm saying, those names you're gonna talk about forever.
Why Richard Hamilton would be with them? They were better.
Exactly.
That's what I said. That's what I'm saying.
Hold on. Let me finish. Richard Hamilton was a better player overall. He was a better collegiate player. He's a better pro. So like,
Then who?
Christian Laettner.
Stop it. I'm about to run out of here, bro.
Jay Williams.
You the biggest.
He did have a better pro career than Christian Laettner.
Richard
Hamilton.
No, I thought you said college. We're talking about college. We're talking about college. We're talking about college.
What are you talking about college or not? No, Richard Hamilton was a better pro and a better.
All right, but that's not my point I'm making.
Collegiately, Christian Laettner wasn't head and shoulders better than Richard Hamilton. He went head and shoulders better than him.
Man, stop it. Man, stop it. It's not. We cheated.
College, that boy Laettner was a monster.
Boy, stop it, bro.
That was a medium. No, that was a medium.
Go what you want, bro. I check.
He was a good player.
Even Shaq said it. That boy was a problem. Even Shaq said it.
Collegiate player.
Yeah.
Shaq said it in an interview that pumping up Duke shit. But even a collegiate, he's a great collegiate player. But dog, you're talking about basketball overall. So you got to put it all together.
You're talking about college.
I was strictly talking about college. I said that's the difference.
You said college and pro. You said college and pro.
Bro, you're not gonna put words into my mouth, bro. I did not say college and pro.
You did not say that, but I'm just saying you can't just sit on just that, because at the end of the day, your name build up comes from both ends, and Duke's only life and lifeline has been built off this whole college notion. Well, at the end of the day, that's all they've been built off of. Dog, Larry Johnson's a way better player than Christian Laettner was. Way better.
But body of work, Christian Laettner was better than Larry Johnson. Body of work in college is better.
We did not say body. We talking about Christian. We talking about better players.
Yeah, stop it, bro. Christian Laettner will go in the top 5 college players of all time.
Chris Webber was one of the greatest players ever to play college basketball.
Man. He ain't won a chip, man. Stop it, bro.
That's the reason why you're trying to. No, dog, you changed. No, let me finish my statement.
He didn't mean to change it.
I didn't change it. Can I finish my point, though?
You didn't change it. Because you did finish. I came in on.
No, I didn't finish my point. You cut me off. You like, hold up, wait. I didn't even finish explaining why I said UConn.
But Christian Laettner, you're trying to make it Christian Laettner is the barometer. Like that, he's the meter. He's not, bro. There's been better college players. Way better college players.
Name some. Yes. Name them. You better go talk about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or somebody or Bill Walton. Man, stop.
There's a difference between accolades and winning. There's a difference between accolades and winning.
Dude had accolades and winning.
Look at his teams.
Man, you was 8 by then, bro. You was 8 years old by then, bro.
That boy was indicted.
He was like 8 years old by then, bro. Man, that man had accolades.
What does that have to do with his teams? Having Bobby Hurley, having a fucking damn Grant Hill. He didn't win because Grant Hill got there.
It is,
He
but
was,
yeah, but dudes,
hold on,
but
he was a sophomore. He was a sophomore when he first won, and then he was a junior when he first won the championship. Where was he at? Where was that at when they lost by 30 to fucking UNLV?
he still was putting up
He was
numbers.
he was on that team.
But he still was putting up numbers.
Where was he at then? It was the next game when the refs got involved in the game and gave that shit to Duke. It's a number.
Bro, you can say what you want, bro. Christian Laettner was a dog in college, bro.
They should have made it that far because he kicked go on the test at Kentucky.
Nobody's not saying he wasn't good, but when you try to put him on a level on himself, and I'm like, bro, Richard Hamilton was in the Big East when the Big East was superior. AI was there. All the players was there. AI was on that team. He beat
we not about to compare Richard Hamilton and Christian Laettner, bro.
No,
not in college.
He beat fucking damn your boy who's at Duke. What was the Elton Brand now. Elton Brand was probably the best player that ever played at Duke at the time. That was the name. That was the name about it. He was one of the greatest players that ever to come to Duke. Elton Brand won everything that year. Every fucking damn accolade it was.
And still one better than Christian Laettner, bro. Christian Laettner is the best player ever put on the
No, hold on.
Hold on. Richard Hamilton's only had fucking down UConn 3 years. Yo,
okay.
your boy went 4 years. He couldn't leave early. They
did say Elton Brand. They did say Elton Brand probably was the best dude to ever come through Duke.
Well, they lied. They lied. They are lie, bro.
No, they used to say that Elton Brand, that team that Elton Brand was on with McGetty, Avery, and all them niggas, they used to say that Elton Brand probably the best thing that ever came through Duke.
Stop it, bro. If you ask Coach K right now, he'll tell you, bro.
That team had Trajan Latham on it. One of the greatest shooters.
Trajan Latham,
They had him on that team, and they still lost.
And that wasn't the point he was making.
Right. They just took my point. And
y'all went with the shit.
Y'all did, bro. Totally left. Totally left. I didn't even finish my point.
I did not go left. All I'm just trying to say is I did not go left. You basically said you pointed out that we talk about Duke's teams, and I was pointing out how UConn did not have the same damn assets as Duke has, but when Duke's championship teams. Their championship teams were stacked like a motherfucker, and you pointed out well, you know, man, like they had the greatest college player. You put him out there, but you put out damn UConn's top 5 that ever played at UConn. No, that matches up with Duke. That matches up.
Never
with
said it didn't.
No, he tried to make it seem like Duke was superior to all of them.
Y'all bugging, man. Boy, you ain't Donovan bugging, man.
Yes.
You trying to make it seem like Duke is overly superior to everything.
I did not say that.
He didn't say that, dog.
I didn't say that, bro.
Yes, he did.
If y'all listening, instead of cutting me off and let me finish my point, you would have heard what I said.
Nah, you
would have heard what I said. Because I don't know what the hell y'all talking about right now. I don't know what the hell y'all went super left.
You played that like Duke. You went from we were talking about how UConn had 12 All-Americans or 15. I think UConn had more than 12 All-Americans. They had more than 12. But we went from 12 All-Americans against UConn, winning 5 championships, and Duke. First of all, the coaches there 50 years, winning 5 championships. And you were like, we talked about Trajan Latham. And I was like, bro, Duke had players. Duke had great top players, had top teams. They still was losing. They were losing with Angel Brand and fucking Trajan Latham and McGetty was on that team too. And they still lost. They lost.
It's hard to win a championship. But my point, can I get back to my point? It's hard to win a championship, bro. Kind of just don't win a championship, bro. A lot of shit got to go right. But I was saying was the reason why some people don't put UConn in that, which I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying Duke has like the bigger name when it comes to college basketball players. That's what I was saying. Like North Carolina, the biggest names, like Jordan, Worthy, bigger names where, you know what I'm saying, where people felt like they was just names that was the face of NCAA. They have more faces that played, that carried the sport of college. You know what I'm saying?
So championships don't matter.
I said that.
you're going.
If you listen to me, I said that's how people feel, not how I feel. That's probably why.
You're going back to my whole debate was just a minute ago when I point out like Richard Hamilton being a better professional athlete
Yeah,
than
but I'm
Christian
not talking
Laettner.
about professional.
But hold
But I'm not
on,
talking about
listen, my
professional.
patient. But the name comes from professional ranks. It does. It comes. The name doesn't always be just in college too. It comes. No, they called Michael Jordan, Mike Jordan in college until he got to it. He built his name up, and that's why North Carolina's way before that. But I'm just saying their names, the collegiate names is one thing, but you build the collegiate brand comes out the damn names that when the player go pro, then the collegiate name it gets bigger. If the brand gets bigger, it gets bigger. I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
It gets bigger. So I get what you're saying, but Duke, I don't see how you say Duke names are bigger than UConn's. I don't get how you
The
say
brand
it.
is bigger. Duke is a bigger brand. It is. It's
But
period.
Duke as a university is bigger, but you just said the players are making the brand bigger. That's
No,
not
I
true.
said. No, I said
You just said that.
that's
You just said that.
I think that is somewhat true, right? Like stars make brands. And if you look at Carolina, Kansas, Kentucky, Duke, they got way bigger stars at a collegiate level coming out of high school than what UConn was able to amass over there, how many years they've been playing basketball. And I think that's why they don't get the respect that people give these other big universities.
That's what I
because
was
they
trying to
haven't gotten
say, right?
the
Right.
big high school names did not go to UConn. They wanted to go to the UConn, the Duke, the Kansas, the Carolinas, the
I
Kentucky,
know,
the
but
UCLA.
this is what I'm saying. You can't say that. Like
Why? But it's a
no, like
fact though. It's not. It's a
it's not
fact.
the fact. Ray
It
Allen
is
was
a
there.
fact.
Fucking damn, Ray Allen was there. No, it's not a fact,
I'm
bro.
not saying
When
UConn
you
hasn't,
say,
but if you
but you
compare
gotta put
1-to-1,
names there.
but you naming Ray Allen, Kimber, Ben
Kimber,
Gordon, but you can't give me 5.
I just gave you 5. I
I'm
just gave you
so,
5. What the fuck are you talking about?
but when you compare it to the Dukes that got 20 or more, North Carolina
But
got
that's
30
but you
probably.
but you
Same
can
as
have
Kansas and Kentucky though.
but you can no, but first of all, let's leave Kentucky out of this shit, bro. Like Kentucky names, the name brand of Kentucky, and just the players in general. You got to we understand it. And North Carolina is North Carolina, but the
But
Duke
that's the point of the
situation.
question. Why
But no, but
UConn is
we're
not one of
talking,
those type of programs?
Duke and fucking UConn have the same amount of championships. So we're
I
talking five
that's
on
that
five, right? Hold on, let
right.
me
That's
finish.
what
Let
we're
me finish. Let
saying.
me finish. Hold on, let me finish. But if you look at their top 5 players in the history of their program, excuse me, you look at the top 5 players in the history of their program. You can't say that the names of the top 5 players at Duke is bigger than the top 5 players in at a UConn. You can't say that. No, it's not. It's not true. It's
Uh,
not.
you probably
It's
poll that
not.
dog. People are not going to give UConn their props, dog. They're just not
That
going to do
may,
it.
but dog, but if you are a college basketball watcher, you gonna watch it. You can say UConn has had that type of level of talent on their teams.
And
They've
that's the
had
point of
it.
the question, right? They've had it. And that's the whole point of the debate of why haven't they gotten that type of success is because I believe it's just they haven't
Well,
gotten
they have
the
had a second
consistently
since
number of big name players to come there
but
to boost the brand.
they've had the success. You're talking about the recognition of their program
But
and
that
their
all helps
program.
though.
But they've had the success. They've had 5 championships since
Yes,
'99.
they have the success, but the name recognition, that's why they haven't been mentioned with these other big schools.
Yeah.
People
But
are drawn to success of players, right? When you're a kid, when I was in high school, I wasn't a Michigan fan. I was a Fab Five fan because of the players
Right.
that went to Michigan, the Fab Five. I was attracted to that, right? And I think that's what a lot of people do with these big universities. They're attracted to the big all-American type players.
Right.
And UConn just haven't had that many, but they
they've
should get
had
all the
them.
recognition. But
They've
I'm saying,
had them.
but not as big as these other schools. That's
I
why they're
don't.
not getting the recognition. They should because
What
they're a
has
winning program.
what has Michigan had more than? Let's use Michigan for example. What
Michigan's
has
not a blue
Michigan had?
blood. Michigan's not a blue blood.
Yeah, Michigan is
We're
not
not
a
even
blue.
talking about Michigan.
Okay, so I was using Michigan as an example. That's why I said use Michigan as an example. You say you're attracted to Michigan, right? Oh,
Because of
oh,
the Fab Five.
hold on.
And people were attracted to the
No,
Leitners, the
we
Grant
live in DC.
Hills.
Hold on, but we live in DC.
Darren.
Well, listen, we live in D.C. The tracks at Georgetown was what?
Allen Iverson, Patrick Ewing, Morning, the
Even before
Kimbe.
that, but the Georgetown was an all-black team, all black sneakers, all black socks.
But the
That was
names
the
though,
attraction. No, the
no, the
name was
names.
nothing. Georgetown was not Georgetown before John Thompson II got there.
Right, he
People were
got
attracted
Patrick
to
Ewing and all these players. That's what we're talking,
exact,
and that's
but
when they
you
got
not,
on the map.
Players,
but they
bro.
were
That's
attracted because they was an all black team
Yeah,
with all
I get
black jerseys. Hold on, let me finish. All black socks, all black sneakers. In a world where racism is dominant in this country, they were the outliers to everything else that we saw. And that's
you.
the difference why they were the brand that they are. That's why the people really was looking at them like they black America gravitated to Georgetown. That's what I saw. That's what my dad saw, what my family members saw. That's why I gravitated to them because I was looking. They had a black coach in the Big East that had no black coaches. That's the difference, bro.
But
Like,
players help. Players help.
but players, but Patrick Ewing name recognition came at the same time Georgetown was on the uprise, and it helped all across the board. No, otherwise, why we ain't celebrating Houston for more? They had five Gemma Slammer and fucking damn Keem
One
Olajuwon and
championship
Clyde
don't make you
Drexler
great.
but no, they had them both at the same time. We still should be like, fuck it, I love Houston. They had those great players there.
They
No, like
did, but
it
we're
just
talking championships, and that's what the UConn should get more recognition. They
But
should.
the
yeah.
but the championships are more aligned with the organizations and Duke and the media. That ain't got shit to do with the players. Like to me, UConn's had the same amount of talent from a top tier perspective as Duke has.
No, they haven't, bro.
Because
No, they haven't.
they've
dog.
had
Nah,
the
dog.
UConn
No.
players have had better success in the pros than Duke players.
We're not talking pros. We're not talking
Hey,
pro. We're
We're
talking
talking
college
college.
programs.
Yeah, we
when you're
talking college.
talking
You keep going
when
to the
you're
pros, bro.
talking no, when you're talking college, you're talking about the brand. When you're talking about the players, you're talking about the pros. That's the difference. And UConn players have had better success in the pros than Duke has. Period.
I
Hands down.
disagree with that. I disagree with
Hands
that.
Yeah,
down.
I'm not sure.
I disagree with that.
Hands
Ray
down.
Allen and who else?
Who else? Who else had a great career in the pros from other than Ray Allen and Rip? And who else? Go name
Rip.
somebody else. Man, stop. You naming two people, bro.
Dog.
You naming two. Like
Oh,
Baltimore.
yeah,
Donnie Marshall had a pretty good career,
Man, hold on.
and Danielle Marshall.
Laugh at you.
You said a good career. What you hold on. What you consider a good career?
Something championships. Ray Allen, all-time leader, scoring threes until Steph broke it. Rip was a champion. He was the leader of that team.
What? So how many championships? So and Duke, who got championships outside of
So
Kyrie?
I'm just saying, like they've done something.
Like all Americans.
They've had people come out of these big teams, bro. Like,
all stars, all Americans. Duke got way more in the league than UConn, bro.
This ain't the biggest Duke. Bro.
No,
We're just talking
Duke has not had the success the other teams had, bro.
Man,
They
stop it,
haven't.
Stop
No, listen, he's talking about Danielle Marshall. We had fucking Karan Butler. Karan Butler's had a greater career than some of these other players from Duke, bro.
he was very
Duke
solid.
has not had Duke as Elder Brand.
Karan Butler didn't have a better.
Elder Brand was the second pick in the draft. Was not great.
Who?
Elder
Elton Brand
Brand
had a good career.
So he was
Elton Brand.
Karan Butler. Was he better than Karan Butler?
Yeah. Elton Brand.
No, he wasn't.
Elton Brand
he
before he got hurt
wasn't,
had a
They about one what?
No, he was not.
Yeah.
Hey man. Hey,
No.
hey, who cares?
He
Who cares? We the
wasn't.
championship. Let's move on. It don't matter.
You
Let's
You
move
know
on.
why? UConn should get all the accolades, bro. I think we all agree with that.
Yeah, they agree.
They should, but I just think the way they don't get these top athletes, bro, and I think that's what hurts them.
They're not getting all the
Especially
McDonald's.
today, where kids and the social media, they all predicated on the McDonald's All-American,
Mhm.
Twitter, TikTok, like all that matters. UConn just don't have that, dog. But at the end of the day, they got a structured program that's about winning. Three separate coaches.
This team is not a dominant All-American team.
Yeah, I can tell you who
But
was on
hold
that
on,
team.
but there's teams in the past for UConn who's won championships have been out of All-American led teams.
Yes.
That's why I don't understand what you're trying to say. Like the shit you're saying is not in line with what actually has happened. They've had All-American players on their teams. And when you're like acting like, oh, they're just they haven't happened. And how many teams gets that? Only maybe it's certain teams. Yeah, Duke was getting some problems, but Duke, I'm just saying the same thing. Like Duke's had success of late. We're talking the last like 5, 6 years. Like in the past, everybody laughed at Duke players.
Right, but I think yes,
Ain't no
UConn
thing I can
independent.
think. Ain't no
I'm
how to
saying all they
think. They have laughed
and
at them.
Diamond,
They laughed
you can
at
figure
him.
out. I don't know how many All Americans they got now, but even in the previous 4 championships, yes, they've had All Americans. They might have 1, 2, but these big teams been having 5, 7 on the team. That's the difference, dog. I think that's the difference why UConn don't get the true respect.
That's what I agree with.
Like they just don't get it because of that. But at the end of the day, it's not about that. It's about winning. And UConn has won, so they should be mentioned with all these big teams.
I just think it boils down to this, and I don't even think it had nothing to do with the players. I just think that the media got their set teams or who they like or who they don't like, and that's just what it is.
Yeah,
let's just keep it 100. Because at the end of the day, and I agree with some things Keith said. I agree with some things JD said. At the end of the day, we got 5 ships in 24 years.
Yeah, celebrate
what media
bro.
person? What media person at the end of the day don't think that is great? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's all about who they like, and that's just what it is. It's all about who they like. It ain't got nothing to do with no players. Don't get me wrong. Duke has always been a brand because it caters to a certain category of people. You either love Duke or you hate Duke. At the end of the day, that's what it is. So the media is going to play that and keep it as what it is. The bottom line is this. If you, as a media person, don't understand what we've done, then you don't need to be right for the media. But they're going to control the narrative because they only like certain schools. And that's just period. Kansas won one last year. But, I mean, at the end of the day, what has Kansas really done outside of that? They won, 4? They got 4 championships. Bill Self got, 2?
Yes, 2.
You see what I'm saying?
Here's another thing, dog. When you look at Embiid, do you think about Kansas? You don't.
Because he hardly even played.
But Embiid wasn't really you don't consider Embiid
that 1 year?
No. That's all I'm just saying. No. You
really.
think about Embiid, you think about Kansas. No, you be like, you don't think nothing about it. But the fact that he was there on that roster, on that team, he played like almost 15, 16 games. His back went out. His back started hurting. He had some back problems. He did play in the tournament, but he wasn't able to dominate what you see now. Everybody remember that who's my man for the Warriors? What's his name? He just came back on the team.
Oh, Wiggins.
Oh, we're talking about
Wiggins.
Talking about Gary Payton.
No, Wiggins.
Wiggins. Yeah.
But everybody meant Wiggins was there, but they were on the same. They were on the same team.
Were they?
Hey,
Yeah.
they were on the same team.
Yeah.
They were on the same team. They were on the same team. They played together.
Yeah, nobody remember that team.
Nobody remember that team. That he was on that
Canada,
team.
bro. Like nobody cares.
It's not nobody cares. It's just that nobody really remembers because they didn't win no championships. They had a
There was no impact.
They made no impact on college basketball. None.
They had elite talent on that team.
They did, but he made an impact.
Let's get to the NBA, bro. Let's get to the NBA. Let's move forward to something else. NBA basketball, playoffs coming up, playing game, tournaments coming this week.
Yeah, sir.
Let's talk a little bit. Let's get some forecasting. If you saw
in the West.
In the West, man. If you saw what's about to happen in the West right now, give me your thoughts. What team is prone for an upset?
Say it again. What team is what?
If you're looking at if you're looking for the matchups, thank you. If you're looking for the matchups right now, if you saw the matchups right now in the West playoff, because the East is already set, we kind of got idea what's going on. And then we can do an East matchup as what we do after the West. What team do you feel like right now in the top seeding is prone for an upset?
Well, because we really don't have all the seeding, right? So, because we're still trying to figure out who's going to be the 7 and 8 seed when it comes to
I think so. But if you look at the Lakers being the 7 seed and whatever team in the 8 seed, the 8 seed I think is going to be
Pelicans. Yeah, it's going to be the Pelicans or the Lakers.
Let's say the Pelicans are 8 seed and the Lakers are the 7 seed, and then let's say the Warriors are the 6 seed. What team do you feel like that matchup was prone for an upset? Out of the top seeds.
The Lakers in Memphis. I can see that being an upset. The reason why I can say that is because the way AD is playing, and Memphis right now don't have no bigs. You know, both of their bigs are out for the season, and we all know in the playoffs the game slow down. It become a more half court game, and you know you can get punished on a rebound. AD being him right now, the Lakers got shooting right now. They playing good defense, so that can be a 7-game series, and I think that can go either way if they meet the Lakers because Memphis don't have size right now. With what's my man who got hurt for Adams, and then the other big
Adams,
and Clark, and we all know my man is good. What's his name? Jaren. But we all know he get in foul trouble. Yeah. He cannot stay out of foul trouble, and that can be detrimental. So he commits some of the dumbest dumb fouls. I'll be like, bro, what? And so that to me, that can be a big upset alert because they don't have the size down low for the Lakers. And my man getting foul trouble. So I would look at that one being a great series. Lakers can win.
It's already settled. The Lakers going to play OKC, and New Orleans going to play Minnesota.
What are you talking about now?
For the playoffs, for the playing game before everything else.
But the Lakers don't have the 7 or 8 seed yet. It's still going back and forth.
No, I'm looking at it now.
The standings are up right now.
The Lakers in
look at the standings. The Pels is in 8. The Minnesota is 9th, and they got the PB. They got the PB by the OKC. If you go on ESPN right now, the standings are updated with the completion of each game. Dallas been eliminated. Utah been eliminated. Portland been eliminated. San Antonio been eliminated.
But the 7-8 got to play each other for the 7 seed.
They got to play for the 7.
They got to play for the 7 seed. You can't have the Pelicans playing.
Hey, Key, go ahead with your thoughts, man. Donnie's a little late, so he got a little eager.
That song too, all loud.
Ain't wrong.
This is all anticipation that we feel like this is going to happen. This is not necessarily a actual. We know this is going to happen. So yeah, we get you though, bro. We got you.
Well, yeah,
you can't get excited, man. We have to put you on mute for a second, but we got you, bro. We got you.
But yeah, that'll be a game I will watch. And the Clippers, right? Would they play? Well, what are they at right now? 6.
Yeah, so Sacramento could be.
And that'll be an interesting series too. Sacramento and the Clippers, especially if they get Paul George back. Because we know Sacramento, they can score some points, but they played no D. So those two will be my most watched, my watch first round in the West that, either teams can win those series.
Yeah, Keith stole the thunder. I would probably say that Lakers and Memphis will be a good one. But you don't know what AD, like last couple games, AD hasn't been AD. I just don't see the aggression. Like he has to be that all the time. Like I don't need a 15, 14, whether he got 25, I don't give a hell. He got to be aggressive all the time, and that's what gives the Lakers their advantage. But the Pels have been playing well. I'm not going to count the Pels out against Denver. If they get the A seed, Denver's not playing well at all for whatever reason. And the Pels seem like they just gelling without Zion, bro. And that series will be interesting to watch. And the Phoenix series, I think Phoenix will be the 4th seed against who the 5th? Golden State. So that'll be an interesting one. Phoenix, Golden State, depend on Wiggins, his situation come back. That will be that might be one of the most interesting series. I know Golden State hasn't been well on the road, but you can't count the heart of a champion out. When they're healthy, like Clay said, bro, it's going to be tough. So I like the Phoenix Golden State series. Then you're going to have the whole media talking about KD playing against, Golden State. So yeah, I think that would be one of the most interesting ones if they play out to be Phoenix and Golden State.
Dante, go ahead, bro.
I think the Memphis. I'm gonna ride with Key on this one. Because when you don't have 2 big men, both of your big men hurt. That hurts them. That hurts Memphis. And then now you really AD can really roam the middle and wait for Ja to come to the rim. But like Ray said, AD got to be aggressive. He has to be aggressive. He has to do what he needs to do to get. But the first of all, you got to get through the playing game first. That's the first thing before you get to the first round.
That ain't no easy, bro.
Yeah, because you got Pelicans. You got the Pelicans in the first round.
That ain't easy.
Yeah, so it's not going to be easy. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to have to come play. Whoever, all the teams in the playing game, you're going to have to come play because it's not going to be an easy out for nobody. OKC got a pretty good team. You know, the Lakers, the Pels, Minnesota. Everybody's in these playing games. They're going to come to play. But for if they make it to that first round, I just think without having Adams and Clark, it's going to be tough on Memphis. It's going to be tough on Memphis, and this way, Ja gonna have to really step up because I mean, he's really gonna have to give you about 35, 40 a night. He's going to have to make up for what Adams them don't do. I mean, what Adams them does in the middle. Because if they can't rebound, it's really going to be bad.
Yeah,
it's really going to be bad. If you can't rebound in the playoffs, you're not going to win. And like you said, Phoenix and Golden State is going to be a good one because everybody knows that whoever lose that game, they're going to catch it. They're going to catch it. So you know, KD looking at this thing like, yo, we need this game, Booker. We need this game, especially if they match up against each other. That's going to be big. That's going to get a lot of coverage. That's going to get more coverage, I think, than the Lakers and the Lakers and Memphis play each other because everybody want to see what can KD do away from them. Yeah, they won a championship without KD, so that's going to be real big. But I think it's those two games. If Phoenix play Golden State and the Lakers play Memphis, I think Phoenix beat Golden State, but I also think the Lakers upset Memphis due to the fact that they don't have no big men.
I guess I'll be the final thoughts on this one. I think the only series that I can see, first of all, I don't think the Memphis Lakers series would go past 5 games. I think that Memphis will beat them in 5. Yeah, I don't have any faith in.
Well, you better go put some money on DraftKings on that one.
I don't need to do that. I can put my own. I can put my own little. I mean, I would stay right down. I stay right down the street from the sports booking. I'm good. I already got the money on Memphis on that series. I just feel like it's gonna be easy for them. Too much athleticism. Too. I mean, I know you guys for the size of your problem, the game slows down, but Lakers don't shoot well enough to. I have no issues with that. The series that I'm compelled to watch, and I think it's gonna be interesting, is 2 series, and it will be who's gonna be the 6th seed to Sacramento, because Sacramento's gonna win a series, bro. They're gonna win one. I feel like in Sacramento, those first 2 games, they can prone to win those games. They got the environment. They got a great bench. They really playing with house money. Like, they ain't playing with a lot of, like, situational urgency. They can play loose. Like, a lot of people think they're going to be there, and they're probably ahead of the actual, everybody anticipated as far as their rebuild. Man, listen, the coach, I think if the Kings play the Warriors, I think the Warriors will lose against the Kings. I do feel like that. I think Mike Brown, knowing their lineup, knowing their organization like he does, I think it is very much a urgency level that the Warriors do not see the Kings in the first round. Because I feel like the fact that De'Ron Fox, I think it's I don't know if it's De'Ron or Fox. I always get his name wrong. But Fox come out there pick Monique Blanc, Darren Fox, what is Monk, or whether it's the kid from the Atlanta Hawks, whether it's just Trevor Lyles or just their big men, the way they play. I know we all feel like the game slows down, but being in that environment and just the fact they're young and they're gonna be a little loose and they're gonna play a certain level. I don't think the Warriors have been that type of team. And I think they're going to have an issue with that type of team. And then Mike Brown, knowing their organization inside out, they know how the players tick. they do not need to see the Kings in the first round. If they see the Kings in the first round, I think they're gonna lose 100%.
Good one. Good one.
100%. I think it's a six. It could be a 7-game series, but I think they're gonna lose to them. You know, I just feel that way, whether Wiggins on the team or not. I think they're gonna lose. I just don't see them happening. I do. I'm excited. I want to see what the Pels do. If they're getting the AC, that Pels Nuggets matchup can be very similar to the Suns Pels matchup. And I feel like that could be a situation where if the Pels are at the right moment, at the right time, playing against the Nuggets, who is still a team that's trying to prove they're worth that number one seed and they're worth that type of talent and they're winning, the Pels can match with them very well. I think they can match with them better than they matched against the Suns last year. And that game can go 7. That series can go 7, or they can mess around and the Pels can beat them in 6.
Yeah. They're playing well right now, boy. Yeah, and it's bad.
Issue I need to understand, we're gonna talk about, is Zion. How are you playing?
Shut him down.
He's not playing in the play-in. I don't know if he's gonna play in the playoffs, but they already came out and said he's not playing in the play-in.
Yeah, we saw that. So I do feel like it can be a very interesting series in the West. I look at the 2-7. I said this, yeah, 5-6. Even if the Timberwolves get into the 7th seed, that's still a 5-game series. I just think the one thing about the Grizzlies I do like, they're so close knit as a team. I just feel like even though they have players down, they're gonna win. Like the 4-5. Here's the thing about the 4-5 with the Suns. If the Suns and the Warriors getting that, let's say there's a 4-5 Suns and Warriors, bro. Like, what type of stamp would this be on KD's legacy if he beats the Warriors? Underman bench with the Suns. Everything depends on that starting 5. What would that be for KD's legacy if he turns around and beats that team that people feel like you should never left? That's a humongous monkey off the back type frame of mind if he beats them, bro. So I do feel like if that happens, I think the Suns wins that. I think the Suns wins that series. And
it'll be a good storyline.
It'll be a good storyline. It's a great storyline. Let's get to the East, though, Keith. Starting there, is there anything you feel like can be upset? East is pretty much cemented on. Is at the end, you still have the Hawks, the Heat. I think the 4-5 is everybody knows it's going to be the 4-5 is going to be Cleveland and New York. But the 6, 7, 8 it's still kind of up in the air. Any team you feel like though, if you look at the standings, you feel like can be upset?
That will be an interesting series for me if Randall come back that New York and Cleveland series. That first round matchup. You know, that can go either way. New York playing good ball, Cleveland playing good ball, but if Randall is back the way my man playing from that came from Dallas, who they saying he's balling, Bronson. Yeah, so Knicks actually playing good ball, man. Tibbs actually coaching them. They competing. I would, you know, Knicks. You know how Knicks fans, they celebrities back in the garden gonna be lit. So that'll be my eyes to watch. You know, one first round for Boston and Milwaukee and Philly. They should win those their first round. But to watch is that for me, New York and Cleveland. I think that can be a 7-game series.
Yeah, for me, it's like I said, Boston, Cleveland. Other than that, nothing moves the needle for me.
In New York and Cleveland.
Yeah, New York and Cleveland. Other than that, man, Boston, Milwaukee, and Philly, they should win in 5 at least. Might be sweeps. Yeah, nothing moves the needle for me.
But I didn't understand. Miami didn't play their starter last night. Try to get that 7th seed. So do they feel comfortable getting the 8th seed playing Milwaukee than Boston? I'm like, I didn't get that last night. Yeah,
I would have felt comfortable playing Philly. Try to get to that 6th seed.
But they can't get the 6. Can
yes,
they?
They can. Yeah, they can.
They would have if they'd all.
Yeah, they can.
So
yeah. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. You could have went and got the 6 last night.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
could
you could
have,
got the
but
6, not the 7, the 6.
Yeah, the 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have rather faced Philly than Boston.
Yeah. So I didn't get that. I didn't get that last night.
Yeah, nothing moved the needle though.
Yeah. Like,
Nah, I'm with Ray and Key. Outside of that New York, Cleveland, I think everybody else is like, it ain't nothing happening. It ain't nothing happening.
Yeah, I'm with y'all, man. The East is kind of cemented in. It's gonna be interesting how everything plays out. But you look at Milwaukee, they're a juggernaut. Um, it's still gonna be depending on Chris Middleton's knee, how they advance to the playoffs.
Well, he gotta get healthy.
Apparently everything's clear. But he needs to be healthy. We saw what happens if they don't have a full healthy team. They lost in 7 to Boston. Boston's got still got their own little issues, but they're if you look at Boston against the top 3, Milwaukee and Philly, they're a favorable matchup because they play well against all 3 of those teams. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they happen. I think they'll take care of business at the 2 and the 7. Miami, you a type Miami team? Do you feel like, hey man, let's play Philly? We had success against them last year. We done beat them in 6, I think last year. We can beat them again. We keep James Harden at some level. Maybe you Miami, you go after that seeding because you want to show that, hey man, we can beat them again because I just feel like that can be a favorite matchup for them if it all happens. But overall, at the bottom, Atlanta, I'm not seeing anything from Atlanta that I feel like is going to be overall great. It's amazing if Trey Songz, about to say Trey Songz. Trey,
Trey Songz.
I say Trey Songz. I'm about to say Trey Songz, but if Trey wants to get traded next year, that's gonna be interesting to see what happens with that. Because that's gonna be a hot topic in the summer with the Hawks. How they rebuild this team, how they move forward on that end. But Toronto, what Toronto's gonna do? Toronto's gonna be a formal opponent at the 7, but I don't think they're gonna beat anybody. So at the 6 seed, maybe Miami or Toronto, either or. So it's gonna be it's gonna be an interesting level, but I feel it's gonna be a good level of playoff basketball in the first round, push for the East. But I don't see any teams getting beat. Right. Let's look into the next question. It's more of an MVP conversation. And Keith starts off on this. You've been watching NBA play. We see what Giannis doing. Giannis averaging 31 and 12, and you know what Joker's doing in the West. But a lot of people have been saying that the MVP race is over, especially the coach for Philly, Doc. Doc's been saying that the MVP, Doc Rivers, the MVP conversation is over now. Give us your thoughts on it. Do you think it's over? Do you think Embiid about to win his first MVP?
Yeah, I think so because the media done made up their mind already. Embiid been coming in second the last 2-3 years run up. So I think this is the year he do it. Giannis gonna be in it every year. You can make an argument for him every year. You know what I'm saying? What he do? Got the number 1 best record. I don't know in the whole NBA. Do he got the best record in the whole NBA?
Yeah, they're the top. They're the number 1 team in the NBA.
Yeah. So you definitely can make a case for him. Middleton being out most of the season, and he's still, doing what Giannis do. But the media made up their mind, so they're gonna give it to him. But you definitely can make a case, Giannis. It should be over, but between Giannis and Embiid and then Jokic, he done missed the last week or whatever. I guess he felt like whatever. I done won it back to back, trying to get healthy and make a run in the playoffs. But it should be between Embiid and Giannis. But even Tatum had a good year. But they're gonna give it to Embiid.
What did Vince Carter do when he won that dunk contest? He's like, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
It's over. Yeah, it's Embiid, bro. Embiid to lose. It's over. Joel, big year this year. Second time leading the scoring as a center and shooting over 50%. Yeah, it's this year. And he's going to make all defensive teams.
I agree with the both of y'all. I think it's Embiid. Embiid has showed you when we used to give him hell early in the season about staying healthy and getting himself together. So the past couple of years, he's really put himself on the map and show that he's a damn good player. And he can play all the games. He can make the jump shot. He can make the 3. He put up, great numbers as a big man. where, like we said now, the big man basically like obsolete in NBA. You ain't no stretch 5, 4, so I just think that he deserved it last year, whether people want to believe in it, he deserved it last year. But I think, this is his year. Like y'all said, Giannis, Giannis is being Giannis, playing, come in every night without Middleton and still, making the ship go. But I just think that this year, Embiid to get his just due.
I'm with the team. I think EB's gonna win it, but I gotta understand, bro. What is the MVP criteria? They said the MVP requires a criteria will be you have to be the best player on the best team. But damn it, Giannis is the best player in the NBA, and his team's the best team in the NBA. So, like, what point is it? What's the difference? Like, yes, Embiid had a 52-point game against the Boston Celtics when one of the best two players was out. But he had a great game on a marquee matchup. This ain't college, dog. Like playing a great game because a certain opponent doesn't matter anymore. Like, what's your duration to the entire season? And that's my issue with the NBA. Like, I don't care if it's a game on Thursday. If you blow it like that on Tuesday, Monday, you blow it like that on the Saturday or Thursday, like I just didn't understand the criteria because it seems like the goalpost changes every year based off the resume of the player, the situation, the overall importance of what they're doing. It seems like it changes. I don't understand, when did it change for Joker? Like, is his importance less because of the? I mean, he's not played the last few games, but it's just like, when did the importance get less? His team's still the number one seed in the West. Giannis' team is the number one seed in the East. The same East that Embiid's in. So I don't understand. Like, it changes all the time. It's just like, when is it? What's the criteria? It doesn't make sense. It literally is the one thing in the NBA that I don't understand. And I feel like right now, at this point, just separate it, bro. Just make an MVP of the playoffs, which is the finals, and make that a more glorified situation. Like, when you win the finals, yeah, you get MOP or MVP of the finals, whatever it is. But bro, they need more glorified then, because make that MVP of the finals more important than the damn regular season trophy. Because the regular season trophy doesn't make sense anymore. It's like, it doesn't make sense how it's being measured. So at this point, you know what?
You think Giannis should be it?
If you look at the best player on the best team, yes, he's the best player on the best team. They've won more games than any other team.
I think for Giannis, I think the reason I think he won't get it, he missed a lot of games this year.
I mean, he been with anybody else. Everybody's missed games.
Yeah, he missed a lot this year though. Then he's normal.
Let's say he missed 15 games, and now the new measurement now for the new CBA is like 17, I think, games, right? Yeah, play 65, I think it is. So 17. Let's say he missed 15. Is his stats less?
He played enough to win the MVP. He didn't play enough games.
He's having 31 and 11. I think he's having 31, 11 boards, and he's having 6 assists a game. He's got more assists than Embiid. They average the same amount of blocks. When people say about Embiid being a better defender, like, how? In what way? They're at the same amount of blocks. To me, it doesn't make sense how you watch this. Like, it just doesn't make sense. They'd be like, well, Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday just had his first, I think he had his second All-Star or first All-Star. Is it the first or second? This year. So it's like, what the criteria? Mills been in and out of the lineup all day.
Criteria, they pick who they want to pick, bro.
They pick who they want to pick.
That's what it is.
Like,
they pick who they want to pick.
It doesn't make sense what's going on with the NBA. Like, so to me, put more emphasis on who wins the finals. The finals MVP should be like, it should be the MVP of all MVPs. Once you win the finals MVP, you should be like, yo, I am it. But if you the finals, let's say you the finals MVP and you're Chauncey Billups, who wasn't the best player at that season. Like, does that make you the best player in the league? Probably not, but it doesn't make sense to me. It's just the NBA is starting to put an emphasis too much on this MVP race. They're excluding players. How you gonna exclude Jason Tatum?
He's gonna be top 4.
He should be top 3. He should be top
His
4.
team,
Yeah, top
He will
4.
be top
his
4.
team is like second in the East. I think that their record's better than the top team in the West.
Yeah,
How
they're better
how
than
you
Denver.
exclude them?
And
How
he
you
averaging
exclude
what,
them?
30?
How
He'll
you
be a
exclude
top
him?
4 pick. He'll
You
be a
can't
top 4
exclude him.
candidate.
You can't exclude him like, oh, you know what? He had too many marquee games. What? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, he'll be
Yeah.
top 4.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense like how they're just managing this situation, bro. It's just like you gotta be on national TV at that time, and you need to have a 60-point game so people can talk about it. We having too much nuances on the media speaking about things when they see it happening. First, looking at the duration of somebody's season and measuring that part. It's too much,
Think they
bro.
should take it from the media and put it to the players?
I thought they already did that, but they apparently not doing it. They're still making this a media award.
Yeah, it's a media
If
joint.
it was a players award, you would know, like, people would be like, nah, Embiid deserves certain times, but I mean, I don't know this. I think last year Embiid deserved it. Not this year. This year can be like any of them three can have it. It's super
Like I
close.
said, Giannis is gonna be up for it every year. Like he's
No,
at that level now.
people
He's gonna
you
always
listen
put up 30 and 10, 20 and 12 like every single year.
now you listen to use TNT, they'll talk during the game, they'll just talk about Joker and Embiid. Bro, how is Giannis so far away from them?
Huh?
He just expected of him.
That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense, man.
You open the season, you could put 30 and 15 or 30 and 12 for Giannis, and you just stamp that.
Yeah, I ain't understand that either. Like Giannis was just out of it, and I was just like, bro, he got the best record. His numbers are MVP numbers. He been doing it without his second best player. You know what I'm saying? So, but the narrative is we got to get Embiid one because Embiid should have had one last year.
A couple years.
Yeah,
He's
so
been up for it.
they got to get Embiid one.
So the MVP
Jordan
was
could have
MVP.
won every year.
Can MVP get if you don't get to the finals, conference finals, he's the biggest disappointment.
Oh yeah.
Don't get that second round.
It's do or die for Philly right now. Like, cause if you don't win one this year, bro, you don't get out the East this year. I don't know if they're gonna ever get out the East.
So in the second round, they're going to play Boston.
You're supposed to beat them, bro, this year, bro. You been knocking on the door, bro. Doc gotta find a way, bro. You gotta find because James Harden ain't getting no younger.
He ain't getting no younger, man. And their payroll's holding up the way it's holding up. You gotta pay Maxey eventually. You gotta pay Maxey eventually.
Yeah.
You gotta pay him. So your problem. For one of our last questions today, though. And I put this out there as it could be a fair or foul type of question, but I gotta ask this to us and Keith, start us off, man. Zion. There's been a lot with him, bro. He's been out since January the 2nd. Is it time to move on from him? We talked about this before, but is it time to just move on, spray Zion, get some pieces in? I've been like, no, but after this last conversation about him not being ready for the play-in tournament, I'm like, bro, this is a lot. It's a hamstring. Like, this is not. It's a lot now. Is it time to move on for Zion?
Yeah, bro, it's disappointing, bro. And I understand why the Pelicans signed him because, you know what I'm saying, his name and he sell tickets. But I don't know if the kid ever going to be healthy, bro, to play a complete season, bro. Going to be ready for the playoff. And I don't want to say that because, you know, we start the same thing to Embiid. But, shit, you done gave him the bag now, and I understand why you gave him the bag because he's a big-time name. And he put, you know what I'm saying? He sell out the arena, you know what I'm saying? Because B.I., even though he's your best player, but he ain't, you know what I'm saying? He laid back, you know what I'm saying? He just got a killer mid-range. He ain't about to be all interviewing and doing all this selling, being the marketing person to sell tickets.
I'm excited.
Yeah, so they had to sign him, and I don't think they can move on. You just got to, bro, try to help him, bro, get in the best shape of his life, bro. Hopefully he turned his career around like Embiid did because, you know, we was having the same thing by Embiid. It's the time for Philly to move on from Embiid, this and that. Will he be able to play these games? And it's frustrating as a Pelicans fan because you've seen they got all this young talent, and they can really make noise. You know what I'm saying? They was like they was number one before all the injuries started happening this year. They were actually So you can't move on, bro. You just gotta hope, bro. This summer, bro, get that boy a chef, lose by at least 20 pounds, bro. Even though he lost some weight.
But chubby as hell in that picture they posted on.
Yeah, because he ain't been working out. You got to get him a shelf, bro. You got to stay on him. And I think the Pelicans put incentives in his contract. So I know by how many games, whatever. But you can't move on because you're locked in. And he helps sell tickets. And, you know, he's a big name, but it ain't looking good, bro. You're already in your 20s having issues. Just imagine when you get in your late 20s or your 30s. So, yeah, bro. So they're going to have to eat this contract, and if he don't pan out doing this contract, you can't give him another contract.
Yeah, I don't think you move on. I just think you just dumb down your expectations, right? You almost got to treat him like Kawhi, bro. No back-to-backs, right? I know he's 20? Is he 23, 22? Well, maybe 24. But now you got to treat him just like how the Clippers treat Kawhi, bro. No back-to-backs, right? And you just got to dumb down your expectations. He got too much talent to just move on from him unless you're getting a king's ransom for him. But yeah, just dumb down the expectation, bro. You know he's gonna play 60 games a year, and just don't play him in the back-to-backs, and I think they'll be fine.
D, your thoughts, man.
Man, let me tell you something. We sit here and say the same thing, everything about Zion. He needs to get a chef. He needs to get a trainer. He needs to do this. Them people know that. I'm trying to figure out, is he really working? Because at the end of the day, the same thing, we've been saying this same thing since he's been in the league. He needs to work out. He needs to get a chef. I'm pretty sure he done heard that from everybody. At the end of the day, you're the person. You're the problem. And you're right. You can't move on from him. But damn, bro, at the end of the day, we're going to be calling him Sam Bowie. That's what he's going to be. Sam Bowie. That's exactly who he's going to be. That's who he's heading to be. Sam Bowie. You had all this talent, and I just think sooner or later, bro, somebody got to figure out something. He's too much of a great talent to where you can't get right no season. Like nothing is working. Because for real, if you put him with the Pels right now, the Pels have gotten themselves back in the road, and he was able to play. Even if Zion can give you 15 to 20 points, that's going to help the Pels.
It's a game changer.
You know what I'm saying? So if you can get 20 out of Zion, that put a lot of people on notice in that West.
It's not in the West. It's a game changer. It put a lot of pressure on the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, dog. Because guess what? Jokic can't just sit in that paint. He's going to have to come out. If depending on the lineup. Now you got to come out and guard this kid who can put the ball on the floor, who's very explosive, who can do different things the way you got to guard him. You can't just sit, and you can't sit. Who on Denver team that you can put on them? Because all they can do, you put them in the post, they're gonna pay a price because they small.
Too small.
It'll be a mismatch.
That's what I'm saying. It's gonna be a mismatch. So Zion got to find it within himself to say, look, even though I ain't played all season, I got to give these people something. I got to give them something. Even if he plays sparingly throughout it make it to the first round.
10 minutes, bro. Even you get 10 minutes off the bench.
10 to 15 minutes off the bench, where New Orleans goes through these lulls where they ain't getting no buckets, and you getting 8 to 10 points within that lull. Dog, you got them in a good situation. But when you're not playing at all, and you just sitting there with the fancy jacket on, with the gold chains, like an old school iced tea, come on, bro. Come on, bro. You got to find it within yourself, dog, to take what you just go out there and play. I'm not saying you got to play the whole game, but give these people something. They gave you the bag. You cried about the bag. They gave you the bag. You just sitting there in your Louis Vuitton jacket, just chilling. Oh man, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like it got to be frustrating for the players, the organization. They've given you the bag. Now guess what? You can't count another man's money. And I'm glad he got his money. But come on, Zion. You got to give them people something. At least give them 10 minutes in the playoffs. At least 10 minutes. You've been out since January.
I agree.
It don't make any sense, bro.
Yeah, you're right. And the spark, he will get a team. Their arena will be on fire. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, the smoothest in the it will be a big a hot ticket if Zion get out there, and I think it turn the tide for that series. I think it'll be a series that you have to watch it. It can go 6, 7 games either way, either team, because the talent for New Orleans can match the talent of the Nuggets if you have Zion playing. That gonna be a lot, man. So I agree with everybody across the board, man. It's gonna be something else. I don't know if he cried about his money, but hey, man, listen, you gotta do what you gotta do. Somebody
Shit,
gotta get
is he
paid.
even
Lamar
practicing?
Lamar ain't getting paid, so somebody get
I
paid.
don't know.
Is Zion even practicing?
I don't
I don't
know.
know if he getting paid. I don't know if he
Man,
getting. I
shut him
don't
down,
know.
bro. Just shut him down for the rest of the year, though.
Shut
Like,
him
bro,
How,
down
how many
again.
times we gonna keep shutting this boy down?
Yeah, man, you gotta. And I always tell people that when you got a small market like that, man, you gotta have a marquee player. You gotta have it, and
Absolutely, yeah.
bro, like, yeah.
Absolutely.
Listen, Smoothie Q was Rocket Lashing with the Suns, but it was the
Yep.
playoffs. It meant more. You know what I mean? You need Zion through the regular season.
Yeah, you need him. That's why
yeah.
they had to sign him.
Because you can't build around Bi from a like be the
Market.
face of a franchise.
That's
Nah.
what
Like
we're
that's just
talking
not
about.
him.
So you need Zion through the regular season.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. So listen, bro, we're at the end of the podcast, man. It's been a hot one. You knew it was gonna be a hot one anyway. We've been on here a little long, so let's get our
All
final
four of
thoughts.
us
We
ain't
get
been here
out
in a
of Key.
minute.
I know, Key. Let's get our final thoughts. We get out of Key. Get your final thoughts, man.
It's a parade in my city, yeah. Shout out to the LSU women again. Um, congrats. You know what I'm saying? Another great podcast. I know y'all sports done started, but I don't care about that shit, But shout outs to my Red Sox. Hope we do something this
Bro, you need
year.
to watch the team. Never. Go ahead.
It's another. I'm looking forward to these play-in games, though, bro. I think these two play-in games gonna be real lit in the West, bro. Especially that Pelicans and Lakers that one. It's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, it is.
It's gonna be a good one. So looking forward to those.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man, great shows. All four of us back. It's been a while. So it's definitely good to be in the building and keep supporting. And we do what we do.
Absolutely. Dante, man, go ahead. Since you're in your car, I'm gonna let you get your thoughts in for mine.
I might
Nah,
be on the
great to be in the
toilet.
building. Hey man, great to be in the building, man. This 7-on-7 thing. Well, I'm be in the car all the time, riding up and down the street. But you got to invest in your kid. Want to see your kid do well. So it is what it is. Glad to be back in the building with the fellas. Keep pushing this thing, and let's keep working hard and do what we got to do. And check out these games in NBA because I think they're gonna be really exciting. I think this is gonna be one of the best like NBA years that they ever had, just
Yeah,
like the Final Four. I just think it's
yeah.
gonna be one of the best ones because you
It's
got a
good
lot of talent
marquee.
in the West. You got a lot of talent in the West. You got a lot of talent in the East. I think it's gonna be great basketball all the way around, just like the women's Final Four. That was great. The men's, well, we got the chips, so I don't care. But anyway, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great all the way around.
All right.
I hear you.
Listen, man, listen, I'm gonna take a moment to pay homage and show love to Shakara Richardson. I've been hard on her when we do our podcast at times. It's just my thoughts on so many things that she reflects. Sometimes I could do a comparison. I can do a comparison between Angel Reese and Shakara Richardson, how they think and how they project and how the message they try to allocate to the various communities who people support them. But man, listen, when they do something great, I'm gonna be the biggest supporter. Shout out to her today. She just won the women's 100. I think she's at the I don't know if it's the Myanmar invitation. I always pronounce that wrong, but she just ran a 10.57 in the 100, the fourth fastest time women's time ever, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's the fourth fastest women's times ever today. So shout out to Chicago Richardson, man, because that's all my issue with her. Like, I just wanted her to stop trying to reply, stop trying to go on Instagram and say all the silly stuff and being slick with it and saying anything, try to distract people from just perfecting your craft. Go perfect your craft, and that's how you're gonna share people up. And I think she caught on. Somebody's got in her ear all day, like hopefully 100%. And yeah, she just posted the fourth fastest. women's 100 time ever, and I think she's prone. I watched her her freshman year at LSU. She was a beast on that team. She was absolutely cinematic, and just watching her perform and what she offered. And I heard about her in high school, but when you see it in the collegiate form, you knew that was her freshman. That was her freshman only year at LSU. You was like, this is greatness. And so when I saw her perform as a professional, I just was not excited about it. But today, I knew she gonna get better. She on the only thing is just I look at her body form, I could see like I watched the race earlier. I saw her body type and her form. I could tell she's been in the gym. She's been working on her craft, and she posted, like I said, she posted 10.57 today, and that's the fourth fastest time of women's ever. I feel like she's gonna have a humongous year. So them Jamaican ladies that
Right.
was talking real slick, you may want to understand. I think she'll have a tremendous season this year. So shout out to her. Shout out to her for
Sure.
just doing what she had to do.
Sure. Finish
All
with
right, we didn't start.
your novel.
Yeah, man, we didn't start with music, bro. But you can take us out with music, my dog.
All right, this one for Key, bro.
Big Four.
It should be some little boost or something. You want to talk? You want to run your mouth? What are you playing? 'Cause we can't hear it. What are you playing? You can't hear it either.
Yes, sir. And we out.
So yeah, man. So the list we gonna like I told you, we need to bucket those down, put them down to like the list, like put them down. Oh, recorded. Shut
I'm
the
gonna
recorder
stop
down. I'm
that.
sorry. All right, cool.
Yeah.